my city, chitty, chitty, bang, bang. Looking pretty when I make the cold stain. Got a bowl in your dome when I jolt down the block. They just fold, then they bang with that comment in the pop. But they coming when they copy. Doing shit sloppy. Fuck your operation, see the doctor is top gear. In the pot, up in the Alpines, making money, ma, on that divine time. Running to me, I'ma kill like cattle. Go ahead and flip it on the CBB, gon' tackle. The CBD will battle like easy, gon' rattle. They sleeping with the apple, I never see the gavel. My Remington steady and the day, moving lawless. Gotta get my breakfast, gotta get the blade and polish. Open tame with Paula, trippy scholar. Taking time, a break from mommy dollar. Y'all better do me and contain me. They wanna beat me, rearrange and getting angry. Good luck, play tough, play tough. If you wanna fight in the fight club, fight club. Good luck, play tough, play tough. If you wanna fight in the fight club, play and polish. Stay in your lane, in your town. If you wanna step to me, come play with the dogs and the hounds. I'm never sparing enemy. Stay in your lane, in your town. If you wanna step to me, come play with the dogs and the hounds. I'm never sparing enemy.
Oh shit. I just realized my soundboard is not broken. Oh my god, no, my perfect intro. My perfect intro is coming back cool, like a cool guy. Oh man. Oh shit. Oh shit. The whole intro ruined, boys. I was gonna, it's cool coming back. 9/11 footage from a cartoon. Like, my soundboard isn't plugged in. It's a disaster. Hold on. I'm fixing it. Hold on. I'm rerouting. I'm rerouting. Hold on. There we go. Okay. Rerouted into an auxiliary panel. Hold on. The computer is booting. We got soundboard, boys. We got the soundboard. Hey, he's back. Where'd the beard go? I ate it. I consumed my beard. Welcome back in this motherfucker. It's the news underground, bitch. I am abandoned nihilism, aka the harbinger, aka the realest motherfucker on Twitch. Where? This is the most hardcore news channel on Twitch. If you're looking for actual news, you fucking found it. It's at the bottom. This is it. What the fuck is up? Big props to Perp Caddy slanging hard. And also Harper with Fight Club. Big props. Thank you so much for your wonderful music. We will be listening to Perp Caddy slanging hard while we're slanging that motherfucking news. Fucking love this song, dude. Makes me want to fucking rob somebody. I've never jacked a person in my life, but then I listen to this song. I tell you, it's true. The right wingers are right. It all started with the rap music. I just want to commit crimes. That's all I want to do. No, I had a funeral to go to. So I had to shave out of respect. I don't know. Felt like the right thing to do. I missed the Satanic Panic. Wasn't that cute? You know, we should, once I start doing regular, like, daily streams, I'm going to be doing deep dives into kind of, like, stories from the past. And, you know, because there's so much amazing footage from all throughout history, you know, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, even further back. So we're going to be, whenever I have some time, we're going to do some deep dives into some of these. Another one that I want to do a deep dive into is Howard Dean. Right? What happened to that guy, you know? But no, we don't have time for that. All we have time for right now. Hey, thank you, Carl Toes. I appreciate that. It was a beautiful funeral. My eulogy was well received. I got some closure. you know? So it was as good of a funeral as a funeral can be, right? So thank you. But anyway, we got to keep it serious. We don't have time for the bullshit. 5 minutes in, and we're neck deep in bullshit. So let's get to the actual news. And once again, sorry about not having the beard, and sorry about the distracting neck fat. Deal with it. Deal with it. Okay, deal with it. I know, I look like trash. I know. But no, thank you, Leon. Welcome back, Carl Toes, Ice King of Space, Chem Goblin in this motherfucker. Oh, those are old comments. Ice King of Space, big props to you. Perm yo beard. It already curls naturally. I got natural curls, baby. Let's get to it. Okay. You know I had to start with this. 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 Have you seen this shit? Epic. 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 Russia, you gotta go home. Have you heard on the walkie lately? So I'm gonna be covering Gaza tomorrow. The third explosions. Epic. Turns night into, day into night. I mean, this was during the nighttime though, but it's just like it completely changes, the horizon, the color of the horizon. Fucking epic, dude. I'm in awe. Legitimate military target, folks. It doesn't get more legitimate than this. Massive missile warehouse. All the experts are saying, oh, Putin's already moved back all of his stuff. Putin's moved all of his stuff back already. So the restrictions, it doesn't even matter. The restrictions don't even matter. He didn't move this shit. Get fucked, Russia. How about you get the fuck out of Ukraine? You think we're playing? Hell yeah, boys. Fucking straight up, bitch. Straight up. Drinking my Slurpee to that shit. Bad news, by the way. The 7-Eleven that's right next to my house is one of those hundreds of 7-Elevens that's closing because they weren't making enough money in that location. Woo! Look at that bitch! Man, that'd make me want to move out of Russia. Seeing that shit, dude. I mean, look, some innocent people, and not to be ghoulish, but some innocent people had to have gotten caught up in this massive explosion. And that is tragic. I'm not trying to diminish that. This is a legitimate military target. This is as legitimate as it gets, though. I was gonna go to Russia for the roulette. Oh, boo. Oh, no. Oh, no, honey. Misses information. Try again. Try again. It looks like a volcano. Yeah, no, and it really, and it burned for like over 24 hours. It was still, burning and smoking. I have other footage and pictures, so don't worry about that. But I just wanted to open up with, I mean, it's a fucking mushroom cloud, dog. We're gonna go back to that original shot is cinematic because it catches the secondary explosion on the left. It's like, because I'll show you the aerial map, the satellite map. They have these things separated, to avoid catastrophic, if one area is targeted, but then the other one doesn't catch on fire. So, but they're connected with underground corridors. But it looks like they were all hit with a tsunami of drones, just a tidal wave of drones every location, and it's all going up. Yeah, exactly, Chem Goblin. Yeah, that's what we're gonna hear from, right? The experts. Oh, it doesn't really matter. Oh, we're just gonna extend it. We don't need to let Ukraine target these things. Now, it looks like we might be going in a positive direction, but Joe Biden is, taking his sweet time. You go ahead and fill in the blank as to why. I don't know, Joe Biden. Because it's like, there's a part of me that wants to think it's all about his legacy. This, the reason why is because he thinks, escalating will make it look bad, like right before he leaves, and he'll be the president that got the United States in World War III right before he leaves. Okay, and then they get into how they actually got this done, but we don't need to watch this part. We're gonna go back to this original explosion though, because we have to see it again. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure if this is all about his legacy or if this is really the military-industrial complex saying, Putin's gonna nuke us. He's gonna do the nuke if we try to take back Crimea. God damn, it's nuts. Just insane. Wow. And those little things that, you're seeing the missiles going off. Just wow. Okay, just last time, okay? I swear to God, last time. Then we're gonna move on. But and then the fucking shockwave and the fucking audio hits you. Holy shit, dude. And all the explosions within explosions. God damn it. And this and the horrific thing to me is that this is a good thing. In some twisted, real, logical way, this is a good thing. Doesn't feel like a good thing. Feels apocalyptic. Feels apocalyptic. But anyway, we got some other stuff to show you here. So this Twitter post, I believe it was from Davey in the Discord. Thank you, Davey. First clear satellite images of the ammunition depot of Torpets have been released by Radio Svoboda? My assessment is not yet final because smoke clouds are still blocking partially the view of some areas. Nevertheless, what can be seen is already devastating. Here's my numbers. So this was posted September 19th, so yesterday. There's probably still pretty smoky here. Let's see here. There we go. Get a little bit going. A newly built portion of the base. All 23 buildings have been destroyed. Dubs. Every one of these buildings contained missiles and ammunition that was going to be used to kill Ukrainian soldiers or Ukrainian civilians. Out of 42 storage bunker, at least 15 have been destroyed. Nice. 10 more cannot be assessed, but are most likely destroyed due to their proximity to the major bomb crater. But yeah, so they don't know for 100% for sure. The remaining 17 bunkers show various signs of damages, but it's hard to assess the impact of it, sure. 5 major bomb craters can be seen. Damage rate approximately over 80%. Think about how much was actually spent on the missiles that was used to take this out. right? Glide bombs, drones. We're probably talking under $1 million or maybe a couple mil to blow up. I mean, come on. How much? How many rubles you think? Couple hundred rubles? The old part of the base, at least 17 buildings have been destroyed. At least 2 open-air logistics fields are smoldering, probably more in the northwest portion of the base. Area market in Violet cannot be entirely assessed, but especially northern portion seems to be totally gone. 2 major bomb craters can be seen. Damage rate approximately 70 to 90%, boys. Fuck, yeah. It's like an assessment after Armored Core. Anybody ever played some Armored Core? Any Armored Core motherfuckers in here? Any mercenaries in this motherfucker? I'm playing I went all the way back to the first one, man. The first, it's so good. Every fucking Armored Core is so delicious. I went right back to the first one. Felt like wearing a glove. I do the digital, straight digital controls, left, right, up, down. I got it memorized, man. Oh, so good. Anyway. Yikes. Okay, so this is a picture before, okay? But this they're just trying to say, okay, this is the damage assessment. They're not quite sure about these. They're assuming destroyed, but they need more visual evidence. What did he say about in purple? In Violet, area market in Violet cannot be entirely assessed, but especially northern portion seems to be totally gone. So these are befores. All right, and then here's the after. Right? Yikes. And in some twisted, ghoulish way, it's a very good thing. Welcome to war. Do you feel dirty yet? I just got out of the shower, and I feel disgusting with a big fucking grin looking at this shit, looking at this utter devastation. Fucking apocalyptic shit, dude. An entire compound filled with missiles and ammo of all different kinds. In multiple locations. So thanks again to Davey. Obviously not comprehensive. We don't have enough data yet, but this is just a really early assessment. Some guy on Twitter, I don't know. Welcome to the fucking news underground. All right, we're professionals around here. Motion sickness warning. I'm going to show this, but I'm only going to show it once because it's a little, like I said, motion sickness here. So if you're susceptible to that, maybe look away here. But this is a first-person view. Someone who is a little bit closer to it, probably, because there was just, dozens and dozens of drones going in. So people had time to get their cameras out. It looks like they caught it in real time here, but he wasn't sticking around, and obviously not. I mean, he probably was completely deaf. Who knows? Like, because he seemed to be way too close. You'll see. I'll slow down the video. We'll see the couple, because we only get a couple frames, but you'll see he's way too fucking close. Fuck! Literally. Fuck! Okay, that's okay. So obviously this is just an initial explosion. This wasn't even like the big one, the big bad one yet. But yeah, let me just see if we can catch a frame here. Yeah, so this is just a drone blowing up close to him. So this drone possibly did him a favor. He might have been able to get the hell out of there. Boy, that is scary though. Ooh, damn, dude. So look at that. Look at that frame right there. Oh, there's his buddy. Whoa, dude. Ukraine, Russia, I think it's time to get the hell out of Ukraine. You might hear me say that a couple times. Now, well, I didn't shave. I got hungry. And I have this special ability. I can just suck my beard back into my face and feast off its sustenance. Some real men are actually able to do this. One day you might be able to learn. So I was hungry at the airport. Yeah. So you've heard of the technique, ungrowing, right? So I kind of sucked it back into my into my flabby face. And then I didn't have to, buy expensive food from the airport. Welcome back to the big room. Metal Gear Solid type shot. Totally, yeah. He absorbed his face hair. Yep, that's what I do. Only real men can do it. Only us alphas. Am I doing it right, Andrew? Alphas. Ungrowing our beards. That's why he's bald. Because he's constantly doing it. Looks like you ate nuts and berries since the last stream. Nope. I've been drinking Slurpees and eating Arby's. I gotta cope somehow, okay? The Arby's in America is better than the Arby's in Canada. What color's your Bugatti? Yeah, well, what color's your hair? Exactly. Clever protein supply. I'm telling you, man, you gotta learn how to do it. It's in the Karma Sutra. So I don't know what this is, but I mean, Russians are brave isn't the right word, stupid is the right word. I don't know what this is, if this is from recently, this is from St. Javelin Twitter account. Supposedly this is Russian, but the person driving this truck is an idiot, but I guess the idea is to get this out of there so it doesn't catch anything else on fire. So I guess you could call it brave. But yeah, maybe just off camera, this guy is this fake? I don't know. He's not moving. How come the camera doesn't move to follow the truck? Maybe this is staged. This is actually starting to feel pretty staged. What's up with this camera? Why is it right here on a tripod? Doesn't follow the truck. Oh, security cam. Okay, good point. Either way, I'm gonna do a Trump. If this guy's Russian, he's an idiot. If this guy's Ukrainian, he's a hero. What do you want from me? I support one side clearly. So, just to give you an idea of that shockwave that we heard, just to give you an idea of the power from the meme. What meme? What are you talking about? But just to give you an idea of the power, and also to give you an idea of the shoddy, shitty nature of Russian homes. I mean, look at this travesty. What the fuck? So the windows, what did they do? Steal some windows windows and doors from Ukrainians? Like the door frame didn't fit, so they just made up the difference with fucking foam. Look at this shit. It wasn't the right size window for the hole, so they just filled it up with foam to kind of make it work. Look, they didn't even cover it. They just left it like that. Looks horrid. Looks like complete dumpster garbage. I'm sorry. Fuck you, Russia. You want me to have... Oh, I know you're extremely poor. There's a reason why you're fucking poor. Okay? Look it up. This bald ass sits in the fucking Kremlin. Look it up, dumbasses. There's a fucking reason why you can't afford a proper window frame. Jackasses. Don't even know what the fuck's going on. Mirrored ceiling? That can't be real. Mirrored ceiling? Why? Is this like a fake picture then? Or what? Is this like a... No, it's not a mirrored ceiling. Is it? What the hell? It's plastic. Yeah, okay. Yeah, like a thin... Oh, no, yeah. No, because look at these right here. It's kind of on... It's... Yeah. My God. Yeah, you do this for sheds. You do this for fucking garages. You don't do this for a fucking kitchen. Look, this is tragic. This is fucking tragic, okay? This entire situation is tragic. And, Russia could be amazing. Russia could be great. There's so much Russia could be doing, and you know the people of Russia could be benefiting. And it's all oligarchs and Putin's corruption and his fucking ego and his desire to dominate and rebuild an empire. And meanwhile, a bunch of schmucks who don't even know what the fuck is going on, can't even, you know, afford a fucking window to fit into the fucking hole correctly. Plastic on their fucking ceiling. Half-Life 2 type home. It's tragic, right? This goofy ass dictator with his thumb up his ass, not giving a fuck about these people, and they just acquiesce. They just acquiesce. But if you can just see, you can see the explosion in the background, how far away it is. It looks several miles away. But the shockwave knocked their shitty little window out of the frame. Now, I have multiple pictures here. Here is the state of the room just a few seconds before. Check this out. Oh my God. Oh my God. Hilarious. Hilarious. The jokes. The jokes. But it's not the kitchen? I don't know, 5 kiloton. The mushroom cloud looks sick as fuck. It's a bedroom. I'm sorry, it looks like trash. Looks like poverty. And I know it because I was born and raised in this shit. That's exactly what it looks like. And it's tragic. Because honestly, you know, the Russian population is not, you know, it's not like they, you know, it's not like China over there. Russians could be, you know, successful, have a successful economy, have a happy, healthy middle class. And it's all sacrificed to the altar of Putin. You know, it's a real tragedy when you think about it, that there's, you know, they're legitimately stealing toilets, they're legitimately stealing washers and dryers because this is where they're coming from, you know. Plastic on the fucking ceiling like you live in a fucking chicken coop, dog. But what a view. True. That mushroom cloud, it's framed like a work of art. All right, moving on. Good news. I mean, we got some good news, man. The Kursk gamble is seemingly a success. Because how do you judge this as a success? Not in taking the territory, not in holding the territory. It's all about Pokrovsk. It's all about that road, that, you know, that drive into Pokrovsk. And it's been fucking stopped, folks. Celebrate! I ain't playing. It's happening. No, not according to Zelensky. I have more sources. Calm down, negative Nancys. Maybe the numbers are exaggerated, but it's something, goddammit. He has no choice. He has no choice. He only has so many competent troops. He's got lots of flesh, but he only has so many competent battalions. Motherfuckers that can actually get something done. That might be the case, Davey. Either way, okay? Look, I'll take it. It's a whole lot better than, you know, Ukraine getting its ass kicked. You know, some fucking bullshit. That said, it really is like, the longer this goes on, it really does look like Crimea, you know, it really does look like the West is going to allow themselves to be scared, intimidated by Putin's threats if Crimea is in danger. And that really sucks. I'm not saying it should be negotiated. If I was in charge, I would fight for it. It's recognized internationally as Ukraine, Crimea. But I think if Crimea starts to become a real reality, we're gonna see some real scary nuclear threats. Like he's gonna move the missiles around. He's gonna point the missiles. Right? He's gonna pick a target. I think we're gonna get. He's gonna trigger a Cuban Missile Crisis kind of sitch. But I don't think he's got the balls. I would do it. I would take Crimea back. I would tell Putin this is exactly what's going to happen if you use that nuclear weapon. And I got the whole world behind me, basically. Right? I'd get China involved. I'd have a little secret meeting with China, and I'd be like, "You got to tell them something, because this is for real, and I'm not stopping. Ukraine's taking Crimea back." Right? But I do think if this gets real enough, and Ukraine puts Crimea back on the table, right? The Donbass situation secured, and then Crimea, right? He's going to push it. But anyway, Russia-Ukrainian war. And by the way, Euromaiden, very biased, super biased. That's why they're economizing. Safe way to say Trump is going to win. I think it's safe to say, no, not at all, Chem Goblin. Not at all. Oh, no. We'll be talking more about the Trump-Harris election tomorrow. But no, not at all. Trump was a safe bet against Biden. That shit was over. That shit was over. Trump and Harris, the numbers say 50-50. We could talk about it more in detail, but I do think there's a lot of people, a lot of women, let's be real. And actually, I found this out a couple days ago. Women vote more than men. But I think there's a lot of women that are, yeah, honey, oh, I love Trump. Yeah, okay, yeah, he's great. Yeah, I love J.D. Vance. Oh, he's great. MAGA for life. Yeah, whatever, fucking Harris. Voting Harris. I think that shit is happening. I mean, because what would you do? What would you do? Picture yourself as a woman married to a MAGA man. How do you handle that, right? He's got the flags. He's got the Trump mural on his fucking truck. He's got the 16 I love Make America Great Again hats. What do you do if you're married to that man? Do you tell him, oh, honey, I actually want body autonomy. I actually believe my body is mine. And I think J.D. Vance gives me the fucking creeps. And I think Trump is a disgusting fucking toad. No, a lot of them, you don't divorce. No, you lie. That's what happens in these rural areas, okay? This isn't Romeo and Juliet, okay? Lowered expectations, okay, everybody? No, you don't get a divorce. You lie. I think that's what's going on. Anyway, back to Ukraine. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. A little preview of what we're going to be talking about Harris-Trump. Because the numbers are basically 50-50. Okay. But anyway, let's get back to Ukraine here. They just don't talk about it, and then Trumper hangs out on 4chan because, Ice King, it's going to be, oh, we're going to do a civil war. We're going to do a civil war, right, guys? Right? We're going to do a civil war, right, guys? Follow me. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Let's go do another January 6th. Get fucking arrested by the FBI. Let's go. Okay. Guess it's just me. You could be a Russian trooper sent to war with an airsoft gun, or you could be a Russian trooper, airsoft armor, not an airsoft gun. Airsoft, they'll give you a rusty AK. Okay, and they're like, you got to clean it. You got to clean it. All right, anyway, enough joking around. I don't look as funny with my beard for some reason. I got to get the beard back, guys. I'm growing this is me growing my beard. Ooh, I'm going to have fucking aneurysm on fucking stream. Ooh. Political streamer dies trying to grow his beard. All right. Serious business, guys. Get to it. Serious business. All right. No, this is a great thread. Highly recommend it. Be like Peter, where Silly Puffy squirts out his Silly Putty. Does that happen? Did it happen on Family Guy? I didn't remember. I don't remember that one. Don't press too hard, or your beard might grow itself a beard. Yeah, that's what alpha males do. Fucking cucks, you beta cucks. Real men here. They're so insecure. They're so adorable. These Andrew Tate clones and these Andrew Tates, they're actually adorable. When you're a grown-ass man, confident in yourself, and you know for a motherfucking fact who you are, what you stand for, right, and what you're gonna motherfucking die for, clowns like Andrew Tate make you fucking belly laugh. That's coming from the motherfucking, right from the nutsack. Clowns like Andrew Tate make me fucking belly laugh. They're so goddamn insecure, it's adorable. Yeah, this for even more charges of human trafficking. Motherfucker thought he could bribe his way out of that shit. And he likely could have if he just shut the fuck up. He's an absolute clown. Right. The only benefit Andrew Tate has on humanity is that if you run into a person that goes, "Oh, I think he's all right," you know everything you need to know about that motherfucker, don't you? Well, he's either an idiot, a totally naive idiot, or he's exactly what you think he is. Taking a look at your link here. Oh.
Oh, is the air conditioning on?
Okay, I remember this.
Nap and I feel drafty.
Peter, we don't have air conditioning.
Well, that's awful peculiar.
Oh my God! Peter, look!
Oh, damn it, Dylan, what the hell? Well, thank God I'm full of Play-Doh. There we are.
That's it.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah. Peter Griffin, abandoned nihilism. We're filled with, I'm clearly filled with Play-Doh. I mean, look at me. Yeah, phone recording, but the phone recordings, they help avoid the DMCA's. It's probably the only reason that clip's on there. Putin just mad he can't go shirtless horse riding anymore. He should get out there, do some horse riding, right? But no, this thread is amazing. Let's get back to the topics, folks. This thread is amazing. Arbitoire, welcome back. Here's the link to the thread. Full breakdown of what's happening for the last week in Kursk, and really big moves. And spoiler alert, the bridgehead has been connected. According to reporting from Ukraine, I believe he was saying the bridgehead has been connected. Yeah, strategic bridgeheads united. Spoiler alert, that's going to be the last video. I have a lot of extra Ukraine stuff we're going to be covering as well. But I wanted to do a normal Ukraine segment and then do some of the older news because I just wanted to show you some of the cool footage I found. Anyway, I actually have videos where we're gonna get into all this, so I'm not gonna go video by video on this, but I can show you some of these booms here for sure. Good stuff, man. It really has changed everything. These drones. There's going to be a countermeasure though to the drones. Like there's no way these drones are just going to be able to get away with this shit forever. You know what I mean? There's going to be some kind of big effective weapon against this. Because think about radio communication. Right? I mean, what isn't radio like, don't we have jammers that can basically prevent proper radio communication? I don't know. I guess they still use it though. I don't know. It just feels like, I don't know. It feels like the drone stuff is temporary. But that's just my layman's opinion. Oh God. Oh, can't show this. Today we spotted the ground drone attacking western flank. Yeah, probably can't show this. Well, no. Okay. Yeah. Okay. No, I can. Okay. Yep, this is all right. Oh, no. I hate everything about you! Ah! Sorry. I just hear the fucking that rock guitar and I'm like, I don't know. I'm not a 46-year-old guy in a fucking dive bar trying to get laid. Damn, look at that, driving over the mines. Check out what I've sent the meme channel after stream on topic of beards. Okay, will do, Tisriel. They should just solve the war with two-man sack race held at consecutive Sundays until a winner is crowned. You know, I've written out a kind of rough sketch about kind of you know, what it would look like, you know, after like World War III. Like, you know, what would it look like if countries, you know, just said, okay, we're never going to do this again, but we still have disputes that we need to solve. You know, how would we actually go about that? Because we're still going to need to figure that out, right? We're going to need, you know, how does one country show strength without mass destruction, right? What disputes do we have? You know, territorial, supply-based, you know, tariffs, economic, you know, crap. There's always going to be disagreements and disputes amongst nations, right? You know, and sometimes that, you know, that leads to war, and then war is basically a contest of strength and strategy of two countries, you know, or two or more countries against each other. So, you know, what could you do? What could you do that would satiate, you know, but wouldn't lead to mass destruction? Anyway, stupid thing to talk about. Sorry. We got to talk about this embarrassing son of a bitch. This absolute clown. I mean, what other way to put it? I mean, you know, he is an embarrassment. You know, Kadyrov here. What is it? Warlord? What is he? A dictator of Chechnya? You know, tentacle of Putin does exactly what Moscow wants. You know, puppet, total puppet, common thug. I mean, he's not a leader. He's not, I mean, he's such a joke. He's like literally like he checks every fucking box. You know, he puts his sons in major positions of power. His troops talk a lot of shit on social media and then get completely clowned on time and time again. Look what the fuck he's doing in a fucking Cybertruck, wrapping himself in ammo. You think that's the play, Davey? Well, he's a fool. Putin would never. Putin knows exactly what kind of person this idiot is. But I guess if you ever wanted to see like what Elon Musk would look like as a dictator. Oh, great. Yeah, let's watch this commercial. That's what I wanted again. But, you know, Elon Musk as a dictator would look something like this. But anyway, his shitty Cybertruck broke down because they're garbage. And I've talked about this. It's literally one of the worst vehicles, bar none, ever made by any company, literally ever. And I can back that up with motherfucking fact. I have evidence. I'm not saying that because it's an ugly piece of shit. It is absolutely an ugly piece of shit. But it is objectively one of the worst, shittiest vehicles ever made. I feel very confident saying that. Looking back, Bound, 100% junk. Like and like a vehicle of like made of lies. It's supposed to be like an apocalypse vehicle. You know, it's supposed to be bulletproof. It's supposed to be this. It's supposed to be that. You can't even get it wet. You can't even get it wet. I can't stress this enough how much of a piece of shit it is. So anyway, he says, oh, Elon Musk doesn't like me. He's remotely disabling. No, it fucking broke. They're all breaking. Davey posted this. I believe this was you, Davey, right? But apparently Ramzan Kadyrov claims that he dispatched 2 more Cybertrucks armed with machine guns to the war against Ukraine. I mean, it's an actual, like, I don't want to talk about this man. This man is a clown. Quote, 2 more Cybertrucks have been sent to the SMO zone. Western equipment copes well with the tasks assigned to it against its own Western Ukro NATO mobility. Guaranteed that's not true. Guaranteed these fucking boondoggles were parked in a garage somewhere 5 seconds after this video was done. Nobody would be suicidal enough to take this into actual combat. Nobody. I mean, I'd love to see the footage because, I mean, these things would blow up spectacularly. You know, the lithium battery would burn for hours and hours and hours very brightly. It's such a joke. Convenience, maneuverability, such qualities of an electric vehicle are in great demand here. Why are they doing a commercial for Elon Musk? I mean, what the fuck? Remote shutdown did not affect them. The vehicles operate normally and without failures. The other one wasn't remotely shut down. It broke down. It broke down. God, the stupid is off the fucking scale. It's like it's completely breaking all fucking stupid meters are fucking shattering like in a cartoon, like the screen breaks like a DBZ, dude. The fucking power meters are exploding. Wow. I'm getting cancer looking at this shit, man. I feel like a tumor growing. Moving on. This is hilarious. This is so fucking funny. This is so fucking funny. So, Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk informs Poles that German soldiers are arriving in Poland to help with the flooding disaster. There's a flooding disaster happening in Poland, by the way. Quote, if you see German soldiers, don't panic. They're here to help.
Z gotowością pomocy też zgłosili się
You know, I mean, the last time
z Niemiec.
the last time didn't work out so great.
Zobaczycie niemieckich żołnierzy, proszę nie wpadać w panikę, to jest pomoc bez, żeby nie było tam żadnych
So I'm just trying to tell everybody.
Z gotowością pomocy też zgłosili się
It's all good.
żołnierze, to terytorialsi też, to jest z Niemiec.
We're here for the flood.
Jak zobaczycie niemieckich żołnierzy, proszę nie wpadać w panikę, to jest pomoc bez...
Please don't panic. Please don't panic. You should send a couple German soldiers over to Auschwitz to make sure that there's no innocent civilians that, you know, are stuck in a flood. I think it's hilarious, though. I think this is hilarious because the last time there was German soldiers there, it's kind of awkward. Kind of awkward. Don't want to talk about it. We don't want to talk about it. As soon as the German soldiers cross the Polish border, their historical ancestors will cause the switch and they automatically, boom, dude. Their uniform just transforms around them, man. They just instantly become fanatics. No. We joke, but I mean, the shit really does write itself here. It really does kind of write itself on. I had to comment on this. I'm sorry. How you doing, Hate Cloud?
Dać panikę, to jest pomoc bez, żeby nie było tam...
Slam the doors shut.
Z gotowością pomocy też...
So, no. People in Poland, don't freak out that you see German soldiers running around. It's not happening again. You're like, terrible timing. All right, so we got a couple articles here. I'm just going to try to blast through them here. I'm not going to try to read every fucking word here, but I skim them. I think they're very interesting. Chem Goblin posted a lot of these, like this one. Georgian Parliament passes anti-LGBTQ legislation. So the Dream Party in Georgia, which is the Russia shill party, you know, the party that's trying to convince the whole world, we actually want to be taken over by Russia. We think that would be really great, and that would be a really cool thing. And right, so these stupid assholes are using their propaganda, using their whatever techniques that they can muster to try and, you know, get power. And now they're passing anti-LGBTQ legislation. So the good news is that this does not mean that this is law. There's still a second step to this, and it sounds like this is going to get stopped at that second step. But this is just the Dream Party kind of, you know, trying to rile up as much hatred and xenophobia, you know, creating another, you know, they do it in a lot of different countries, and it's, you know, to mix success in certain places, in other places more effective. But they're, you know, they're very good at this. They're very good at, you know, finding, you know, oh, they're weird. And I mean, how many LGBTQ people are in Georgia, right? Oh, 75% of Georgia is made up of gay people. You know, it's ridiculous. It's probably like 5%. Less than, you know what I mean? So it's the idea that this, you know, small minority would be a threat to German society and whatever, all culture, right? They use all those excuses. Oh, you're not a real man if you get, you know, get fucked up. You know, it's like, come on. Some of the most manly men I know are bottoms. We'll just say, yeah, abandoned nihilism. I mean, Tisrael, exactly. But anyway, it's not the end of gay rights in Georgia. Like I said, it's very likely that this is going to get shut down. But this is the doing of the Dream Party. They're a nasty Russia-connected party. It's pretty obvious what's happening there, and it needs to be stopped at all cost. I don't know what all I know is that I'm really good at this. That's what I know. That's for sure. That's all I know. I'm really good at this news stuff, guys. This is the right path for me. That's what I know. So that was a step back in Georgia, but a step forward in Ukraine here. A march to support LGBTQ people. I assume there's a Q there as well. Was held in Kharkiv in the format of Auto Pride. Hey, look at this. So awesome stuff, you know. The fight is not over. The fight is not over. And once again, thank you, Chem Goblin, for these links. On September 15th, the 6th Kharkiv Pride dedicated to LGBTQ plus rights took place in Kharkiv, this time in the format of Auto Pride. And this makes sense because, you know, you don't want to stick around, right? You don't want to have a big congregation hanging around for hours and hours and hours, right? Nice, big, juicy target for Putin. This makes a lot of sense. Quick little, you know, scoop, you know, yep, gay rights, see you later, keep driving, right? Makes a lot of sense, you know, and it really, you know, it's actually very smart and it's very safe to do this, right? And it's really great because it shows the world and it shows Putin, you're not going to stop us, but we're also not stupid. We're not going to make ourselves targets for your barbarism either. We're going to do this in a smart way. We're going to deny you, you know, juicy targets, and we're also going to deny you your desire to, you know, destroy gay rights. We're gonna shit on you in two ways. So I love it. They did stop to make some photos. Yeah, okay, yeah, but you know, wham bam, thank you, ma'am. Keeping it moving, keeping it shaking, right? Instead of a big congregation of people hanging around for hours and hours and hours, you know, at concession stands, you know, hanging out, you know, like free people should be able to do in their country, you know, it's like they would normally. No, we can't do that. You know, we got to think about, well, what if Putin decides to launch a fucking cruise missile and kill hundreds of people? There's a real chance that he totally would. But makes sense. Let's see here from them. The organizers explained they chose this format to make the event as safe as possible during the war. This is not the first time that Kharkiv Pride has been held in the form of a motor race. The march took place in the same format in 2020 during the COVID-19 pandemic. Yeah, I actually attended a birthday party this way during COVID. That was a very interesting, favorite way to attend a child's birthday party. Drive by, here's your fucking present, see you later. Meow, bye, bitch. Yeah, happy birthday, whatever. It was great. Most favorite child's birthday I've ever attended. Oh no, their mother-in-law came through again. Hope they brought you a chin warmer. Shut up. I don't need a chin warmer because I just suck my chin into my body to warm it. Jealous? Yeah, that's the look of jealousy on your face, buddy. Chin disappeared. Warm and toasty up in there, Jelly. Peak masculinity. Alpha. Thermal regulation. So no, this is great news. Love to see it. And thank you again for the link, Chem Goblin. Moving on, I think this was another one from you, Chem Goblin. You're definitely kind of like closely watching a lot of this very interesting, European, or not, I should say, Baltic, European, cross-European political relations, gender relations, things like that. I appreciate you being on that beat. I appreciate that, MTV, I assume not the MTV that we're thinking of. Finland withdraws from Ukraine Equality Alliance due to Finn's party minister's anti-LGBT stance. That sucks. Okay, so this is the Finns. This is Finland pulling out from an Equality Alliance. Yuck, due to the Finn's party minister's that's so disgusting. Get over it, you creepy weirdos. Get over it. Oh yeah, oh this guy hates gay rights, huh? Right. Oh yeah, daddy hates it. Daddy hates his gay rights. Get over it. Get over it. Men have anal sex. Get over it. I mean, fucking get over it. Am I right? All right. Yeah, all right. No, but seriously, get over it, you creepy fucking nerd. I mean, I don't have time anymore for an intellectual argument with fucking bigots that are all creeped out about how people, make love to each other in their own fucking homes or bathhouses, saunas in the Castro. Yeah, they're real. And yeah, I'm jelly. You wouldn't think if I was a straight man, if there was a straight place where you go with straight dudes and a bunch of naked chicks running around and everyone's banging. It's like a Greek orgy. Yeah, but you can't do that because men are disgusting. But gay dudes can somehow do it, man. It's like self-regulating. I don't know how it works. But it's like, wait a minute. You guys, you go in there and you just have sex with each other? You're like, yeah, dude. You're like, really? Oh, yeah. Just go in there and you have sex with all your friends. What? Kind of awesome. It's weird and awesome. I don't know if I could be friends with everybody in the chat if I'm having sex with you at the bathhouse. But hey, it's a gay thing. I don't know. You tell me. Anyway, this creepy weirdo needs to get into the bathhouse because we know what's going on. I mean, come on. Oh, he's a good little boy. No gay stuff. No gay stuff, guys. We could be more than friends. No. Not with a chin like this. Bathhouses, public toilets. Whatever. I mean, whatever. I'm not going to read this about this piece of shit. Vote him out. Get rid of him. Finland. What's going on here? Dropping the ball. We don't have time for this shit. You know what I mean? We really don't. We have some big fucking problems, and we're worried about gay guys having sex or lesbians or whatever. It's just, or like, non-binary people. It's just, I'm so fatigued, because it's like, it's such an assumption to me that they should be able to do whatever they want, love whoever they want to love, It's like, it's so frustrating because we really got some big issues, big philosophical issues that we need to be pontificating over. What are we doing? What are we doing here? Blowing each other up? Good God, why? There's so much more we could be doing. We need to be doing than blowing each other up and the quarterly numbers, the my corporation. What about humanity? Vladimir Putin wants Russians to have sex on work breaks amid decline in birth rate. So I just wanted to real quick point out that this cynical piece of shit just wants more people for his meat waves. Do you think he's going to try to make the military better? Think he's working on strategies to improve technology, to reduce the necessity to have more, the reliance on the meat wave tactics, right? Finding a bunch of poor schmucks, untrained poor schmucks to send them in. Just plow her on the copy machine. There's no way Putin proposed that. Let's see. In the wake of drastically falling birth rates in the country, Vladimir Putin has reportedly asked Russians to have sex at work during their lunch and coffee breaks. According to metroco.uk, the quote-unquote sex at work scheme has been ordered to address the current fertility rate in the country. Speaking on the matter, the president asserted, quote-unquote, the highest national priority, stating that this is important to preserve Russian population. The fate of Russia depends on how many of us there will be. It is a question of national importance, he added. On the other hand, Health Minister, this guy, explained being very busy at work is not a valid reason, but a lame excuse. You can engage in procreation during breaks because life flies by too quickly. I don't know, man. It's so cynical. We need more bodies. We need more bodies. You should be fucking at work. I don't know. They're such unserious people. Anyway, ridiculous and cynical because, like I said, do you think he's going to change how the military operates, the strategies? No, it seems it's just like, oh, well, it worked really well in Stalingrad. It barely worked. They were lucky it worked. And it's like Stalingrad forever. Everything Stalingrad now. We don't need to worry about technology. We don't need to worry about training. We're just like ants or bees or orcs, if you want to even go that direction. But just throw enough waves, wave after wave after wave, until the enemy's gun jams. It's really depressing. It's really depressing, right? Because this is like, oh, okay, they're thinking, okay, yeah, no, we can't fix any of that stuff. So let's, get on it, peasant. Get to fucking, peasant. Need more dum-dums to send into the war, peasant. You got no excuse. Fuck on your lunch break. Procreate. Really. With your coworkers? What about marriage? What about families? What about, stable, monogamy, right? I almost said mahogany. I literally almost did. All right. I thought he was like all like gay people, he's against no, be a total heathen, right? No, I mean, put as many babies in all your coworkers that you can. Hump away, dog. Go crazy, but family values as well. And gay people are bad, but also have sex with everybody that you know and make as many babies as possible for the Russian military. I'll get back to that. Vladimir Putin's pivot to China is backfiring, so we have more evidence that the economic situation is not looking good. Need to get their IVF crap together. Octomom factories. I mean, you would have to wonder if they've thought about that. Breeding programs, right? Breeding programs, if this is the strategy of our military, if it's just really, hundreds of thousands of men sent to their doom. It does, they're probably cynical enough to think about that kind of stuff. Sex breaks into the schedule. You got 45 seconds. I got 15 seconds, lickety split. I'm back working for the Empire. I don't need 45 seconds. Get this shit done. Get over here, Betty from HR. Are you pregnant? You don't look pregnant to me. I was pregnant last week. Let's get to work. Putin says we got to get to work. I just picture like it's like the Flintstones, you know, they're like the animals from Flintstone. It's a living. It's a living. No, okay. More good news. Vladimir Putin's pivot to China is backfiring. So we talked about this a little bit, but a couple more details on it. Russia's pivot to China has faced multiple setbacks in this year as China banks, wary of U.S. sanctions imposed over Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine, are rejecting transactions, forcing Moscow to raise fees on yuan RMB transfers. Heavily sanctioned Moscow has benefited from the world's second largest economy since the Ukraine war began, with bilateral trade rocketing up by 26% to a 240 billion high last year. And we covered that. It was like, goddamn, what can we do? They're having like literally gangbuster numbers, right? Because they're selling oil pennies on the dollar. And Russia becoming China's top source of oil makes perfect sense, right? Buy it while you can. The blowout sale. India went crazy. Last month, Russia media reported that some 98% of Chinese banks now reject RMB denominated settlements. First major and now also more local Chinese banks have stepped up compliance with the Biden administration to shield themselves from the secondary sanctions. This limited ability to use RMB has caused a liquidity squeeze, which seems to have driven the recent fee hikes by Russian banks. So, yet another straw on the camel's back. Yet more evidence that, you know, they're having trouble paying the bills. You know, because, like, Putin is desperate to create a new economic reality outside of the West. Does he have enough time to actually do that? And like the fact is that other countries are not going to want to participate in this system outside of the dollar if it doesn't make them money. Okay, that's what makes the dollar so goddamn juicy, and that's why they all keep coming back. Because that's real money. That's real wealth. That's just a fact. And that's why they all want to replace the dollar with their currencies, because it's really America's number one biggest ace in the hole after World War II was the dollar being the reserve currency. You know, I don't know if that was ever like truly decided. I don't know the history of that, or if it just ended up that way. But that is America's number one ace in the hole. They cannot lose that at all whatsoever. America will go to fucking World War III to hold on to its reserve currency status. Mark my words. More powerful than any bomb, more powerful than any tank, any army, any Navy, Air Force. The dollar is America's number one weapon tool that they use geopolitically. And it, as much as Russia and China and, you know, India, Brazil would like to make alternate, you know, BRICS, you know, we always hear about BRICS. Welcome back, Comrade Chicken. Maybe you've done a little threatening, you know, fearmonger. BRICS is happening, right? As much as they want us to think that these alternate systems are, you know, up and coming, you better watch out. No. It's, and look, I actually want to see more equality. I want to see the dollar's hegemony. I do it every time. I do want to see the dollar get challenged internationally, right? I don't think it's great that, you know, it's the end all be all. But right now, is there any legitimate challenge to the dollar? Not really. Not without a big financial disaster in America. Not without major weakness in the American economy. Is there going to be any kind of legitimate threat to the dollar's dominance? Russian companies doing business with China began facing additional hurdles this month, this time from domestic lenders. Russian commercial bank Exo Bank, JSC, dramatically raised its fee for money transfers in RMB last week from 1.2% with a minimum of 350 RMB, $49. Fee to 6.5%. Russian financial news portal Frank Media reported on Monday. So that is a big fucking jump. That's like, I'm not doing business anymore, right? Sell your stake, dump your stake, get out of this market. These fees are way too high. I can't do business on a daily. I'm not going to be, $50, 50 US minimum. That's the minimum. Last week from 1.2 with a minimum 350 fee to 6.5%. Yeah, no. That's the people are going to be running. If all BRICS countries get together, they'll take China's spot as number 2 economy in the world. And that's no joke. That's no joke. But are they really going to work together? Are they really going to work together? I mean, like I said, I'm actually okay with the dollar being challenged because it's like America needs to find new solutions other than our way or the highway. Geopolitically, it's not working out great. Sometimes it works out. Most of the time, it doesn't work out great, and we're making a lot of people really, really pissed off with America. Make more burgers. All right. Anyway, moving on. Some good news. Ukraine suffering high losses due to slow arms supplies, says Zelensky. So it's just Zelensky saying, "Hey, we're hurting." So you lose a lot of people. You lose people because they're not in armed vehicles. They don't have artillery. They don't have artillery rounds, said Zelensky, speaking in English. CNN said the interview had been conducted on Friday. We need 14 brigades to be ready. Until now, from these packages, we didn't even equip 4. So, yeah, that's one thing that's really troubling to me is that we literally have brigades. We have men. Ukraine has men ready, but they don't have the equipment to give to them, to put them out there, which is unbelievable to me. Unbelievable. And this is stuff that's been promised. Okay, we're not waiting for the appropriations. This is all that's been done. We're waiting on the delivery, dude. Put Jeff Bezos in charge of this shit. He'd have it yesterday. Amazon Prime that shit. Not Joe Biden in his prime, okay? Joe Biden in his prime over here. Anyway, let's pick up the pace. What more needs to be said, man? I'm so tired of this embarrassment. This embarrassment. I put it in the notification, but it's like, Putin's strategy depends on Joe Biden's lack of leadership. His cowardice. Putin's strategy depends on Joe Biden's cowardice. And he has to know that in some way, somehow. Is he really totally oblivious to that? That Putin is totally depending on him being a fucking scaredy cat? Why is Biden just so senile? We don't need to get into that. Because there's plenty of old folks his age that would be less cowardly, right? You think Trump will end the war in Ukraine? Yeah, he'll hand it right over to Putin. I honestly believe if Trump were to get in charge and he does all the things that he promises to a T, I think Putin will just go straight for Kyiv. And just totally roll Trump. Right? Okay, fine, dumbass. No problem. Because it's really now or never, But yeah, no, Trump's got the solution. Yeah, give up, be a punk ass bitch. That's Trump's solution to the war. Be a complete coward. Another $1 million. Will Putin stop at Ukraine? Putin stop at Ukraine? Yeah, I think so for a while because they would just have to rebuild. I think after Ukraine there'd be 5 or 10 years of peace while he rebuilds his army. And then, if he's still around, maybe another go round, some location. But I don't think it would be one right after the other. if he were to take Kyiv. You know, maybe Moldova, sure. Just a quick trip over there to finish Moldova off, sure. It's like this on the map, dude. If this were a game of Risk, you couldn't even fit the whole soldier on the fucking space, right? Be like, that's Moldova. It's not Ukraine. You can't tell, but there's Moldova underneath that. Full on try to take over this country's full-scale invasion. All right. Sorry. So this was from Woke Patriot. Thank you, Woke Patriot. Biden posed to approve Ukraine's use of long-range Western weapons in Russia. The topic will be on the agenda Friday as Britain's new Prime Minister Keir Starmer visits the White House. This is old news. This is, I believe, from the 12th of September. Yeah, September 12th. And we still got, where are you at, Biden? Oh, maybe thinking about it. Oh, I don't know. Hemming and hawing. And meanwhile, Ukraine shocking the world with its boldness, its strength, its ability to be scrappy and creative, to use the latest technology to strike at one of the supposedly strongest militaries on planet Earth and win and succeed and push them back. I'm so fatigued, man. I'm so fatigued because never has there been a point in this war where Ukraine has really been allowed to kick all the ass it needs to kick. And, you know, with all the resources it actually needs. It has never really been completely fully equipped. It's always been hamstrung. And when I look at how Joe Biden is dealing with Ukraine, it makes me think of how the neoliberals deal with everything. And I talk about this all the time. They fight, you know, immediately the fight begins, they tie both hands behind their back. Oh, they fight, but not too hard. They're so pathetic, and they're so used to being pathetic. They're so used to, you know, the mire that they've built. You know, they can really only see within it. They need to be forcibly removed politically. We're never gonna be not frustrated, wholly frustrated with America until we do something about neoliberalism. Until we start talking about it, until we start addressing it for the problem that it is. If we keep having the situation where it's fascism or neoliberalism, and that's really the only choice we have, it will lead to ruin. It will lead to ruin because the neoliberals are weak, terrible, delusional, narcissistic, etc., etc. They don't deserve power, but honestly, with them in power, we're in real danger. When real shit hits the fan, we're going to be in real danger. I mean, think about it. Democracy was completely abandoned by the neoliberals, and who was it up to on January 6th? Mike Pence. Mike Pence. There's a real chance that had Mike Pence challenged it, right, and kicked it back, done whatever Donald Trump said he could do, there's a real chance that the neoliberals would have gone along with it. Oh, maybe they'd be resisting, maybe they'd fight. Matt Gaetz would have gone along with it, right? He would have been, he would have been all like, oh, yeah, let's do another vote, let's do another thing, let's slow it down. But the neoliberals would have let it happen. I guess they have no choice. But they certainly, Joe Biden has had 4 years to executive order, pass some kind of law, do anything that would, make it very clear that you're not allowed to do that. But I don't know, he hasn't really changed anything. I get it. It's tough, though. Anyway, I'm rambling. Like I said, this is from the 12th. We still haven't seen movement on it. Great job, Joe. I have to report on this. So we reported on the beheadings that we've seen the Russian military performing on Ukrainian POWs. We're going to be doing that tomorrow. We're going to be talking about the beepers tomorrow. Doing Gaza tomorrow. So yeah, Russia has, thinking they're badasses or, whatever. There's been some kind of official orders for certain battalions and to do barbaric things. But here we have another one. Kyiv investigates alleged Russian execution of Ukrainian soldier with sword inscribed for Kursk. I mean, who knows if this person was already dead, and obviously this picture is cropped. You don't see the body in this picture, but I think the body was already dead and they stuck it in there. I don't think the guy was killed with a sword, but I don't know. Really, and I need to say this, I've said it before when we were talking about the beheadings, there's lots of blood around. Dead bodies can bleed. So I said this during the beheadings. When I see this, I weep for Russian soldiers. I weep for Russian soldiers, and I have a great example of some fresh-faced 19-year-olds with big smiles on their faces and a big old future ahead of them, who are happy to be taken prisoner by the Ukrainians. Well, I think about those guys and how shit like this increases the chance that they get their ass fucking smoked instead of taken prisoner. So when I see this, all I can think about are the Ukrainian soldiers who have to show professionalism, and it's a war zone. It's a battlefield. Sometimes that professionalism isn't shown. So keep this shit up, Russia. Keep this shit up. A Russian stuck this in a Ukrainian's body. Whether the Ukrainian was alive or dead at the time, we don't know. But this is the body is cropped out of this picture. There's a body just off camera here. It says "for Kyiv" on it. Oh, that's nice. Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't work in the way that they think it works. So I wanted to talk about this for Kursk. Yeah. Going out like the Highlander. True. Yeah, it's kind of it's a warrior's way out, no doubt about it. Getting killed with a sword. So, I don't know if you guys heard. I haven't had a chance to report on it too much, but Tim Pool, a bunch of right-wingers. I think I did report on this, actually, now that if I recall correctly. But Tim Pool and a bunch of other right-wingers, stone cold busted, taking money from Russia, repeating a bunch of Russian propaganda. So when we see influencers like this making these stupid arguments, we know what's going on. They're either cashing checks or they want to cash a check. Yeah, $200K a week. That's good fucking money, dog. Right? So you got a million followers on your Instagram, right? So this is Mr. Instagram here. I don't know how many followers he's got, but let's just assume, right? Yeah, you want that. That's a bag. You want that. That's a nice check. $200K. Oh yeah. We gotta pull out. We gotta. Zelensky has to stop. Oh, definitely. Oh man, escalation. Oh, and if you don't stop, there's going to be a nuclear war, and it's going to be your fault. Even Russia's going to drop the bomb, but somehow it's going to be everyone else's fault. They had no choice. They had no choice. Money, 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 money. So it's either people that are already cashing those checks, or they want to cash those checks, and they're basically doing an audition. I think in the case for this idiot, he's doing an audition. Oh yeah. They go. Zelensky's a monster. This is like Jordan Peterson will say this shit. Zelensky's the monster because he's sending his army to die against the Russian military when really he should be negotiating peace. Oh, they say the most ridiculous things, but we know why they say these things now. We know why they say these things now. It's not because they, you know, oh, this 1 + 1 = 2, because it doesn't make a lick of sense when you actually understand, when you look at this for 5 fucking seconds. Yeah. Yes. Information. Yeah. Yes. It's as absurd as you. Yes. It's totally absurd. So yeah, I think that's what's going on with this fucking moron. So just wanted to give you an example. This was put in the Discord. I thought I would play it. Trigger warning. Moron who's trying to get a 200K bag. It'd be tempting if they reached out to me. I would think twice. I'd be like, oh man, 200K. Ooh, that would change my life. I can't do it. But fuck, you know what I mean? It would make me stop for a second. Like, oh man, that would actually legitimately change my life. Just, oh fuck. Okay, can you take the money off the table, please? I don't want to look at the money. I'm not going to take it, but can you just take it off the table? I don't want to look at it anymore, please. I would never do that to you guys. You know I wouldn't. But I'm honest enough to say that would make me like think for a second. Money is real. 200K is a lot. Like, cause I was thinking, you know, $5,000, $10,000, whatever, right? These idiots are cheap. 200K. And that was really for the higher, you know, Tim Pools and stuff like that. So I'm sure there's a scale. There was a scale. Anyway, idiot alert. Let's hear this fucking moron tell us why Ukraine needs to let Russia continue its invasion and finish its invasion.
To do, and hearing that there's been
It's going to do a little refresh to get the start because there's no way for me to
be aware of right now, because it could trigger a huge war escalation. The UK's Prime Minister is visiting the White House today to discuss allowing Ukraine to use Western-made long-range missiles to fire deep inside Russia.
Can't do that.
Pause.
No. Pause. We got to protect Russia, guys.
Without the French, British, or American missiles, this is something that Ukraine hasn't had the ability to do. And
not true, actually. They've been doing it quite a bit with all kinds of drones. But anyway, go ahead. Get that bag. Money, 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 money. You don't have to be right to do it, right? You don't have to be right.
Hearing that there's been high-level discussions of this, Putin said yesterday, if the decision is made, it would mean nothing other than the direct involvement of NATO in the conflict.
Is that what Putin said? Whoa, dog. Whoa, man. Putin, there's no history of Putin making completely false statements, saying one thing and doing another, threatening all kinds of nasty shit, not doing a goddamn thing about it, right? Oh, but this one's real. We're going to be at war. Okay. What's different? What would change? What would change? Nothing. Because he knows better. He knows. World War III, huh? Better watch out. What happens to Russia during World War III?
That it would substantially change the very essence and the nature of the war, and that European countries, including the UK and US, will be at direct war with Russia. It's
oh my God. What changes? What changes?
That the decision could be made today, and if there is approval, it would mark a significant moment and escalation in this now 2.5-year war. So, as we know more, I'll keep you guys updated.
We all get nuked? No, we don't. I'm sorry, guys. I don't buy it. Putin is not going to trigger World War III for Crimea. Nuketown? I'm not buying it. He's not going to, because look, it's the end of Russia. It's the end of Moscow. It's the end of Putin's regime. The oligarchs know it. The military knows it. Oh, maybe we'll put up a good fight and, you know, maybe we'll do it. There's no strategic assessment no objective strategic assessment of the United States versus Russia where Russia comes out the winner. Okay? It's just a bunch of different scenarios where Russia gets to hold on, you know, for a little bit longer while they get completely annihilated. They know that. They know that. They know this. Putin thought this was going to be a Barack Obama sitch, right? Sneak it in, scooting out, real quick, quickie little invasion. He's in way the fuck over his head. He's not dropping a nuke over Crimea. His entire strategy depends on the weakness of the West. And this is part of his strategy. This is why he pushes this narrative. This is why he pushes this narrative. Putin says West will be fighting directly with Russia if it lets Kyiv use long-range missiles. Oh, no. Okay, what? Are you going to start calling it a war instead of a special military operation? It's just as ridiculous as when the United States was doing that. They weren't calling it a war. Special terrorist operation. Terror, we got to get terrorists. Terrorists out there, we got to get terrorists. What do they call it? What do they call it? Wasn't no war. But what changes? That's the question. What changes? Oh, we're gonna say it's war. Okay. You're gonna continue to get your ass kicked in a war now instead of you're gonna continue to get your ass kicked in a war instead of a special military operation. But what actually changes? Yeah, comrade, there was the slip of the tongue, but it's officially still just a special military operation. He doesn't want to draft people. He doesn't want to go full total war. Call his bluff. I'm sorry. Can we call his bluff? Oh, we're supposed to be just shaking in our fucking pantaloons. Call his bluff. Yeah, call it a war. Whatever, dog. Still going to kick your ass. Still going to give Ukraine everything it needs. And you would think that's okay, great. With the gloves are off. We're at war. Whatever. As it's always been this way. We wouldn't even be having this conversation if he decided to just call it a war instead of a special military operation. That would have been he would have, over and over and over again, probably would, we're at war with the West, we're at war with the West, instead of just hinting that we're at war with the West, we're at war with the West. Oh, if you don't do this, I'll call it a war instead of a special military operation. Whoop-de-doo. Oh, we're supposed to be scared. So this is a great video by William Spaniel. We're not going to watch the whole thing, but we are going to watch a pretty good chunk of it because it goes over all the things that we're talking about. Nuclear war, the restrictions, we're going to start at the section where he talks about why there are restrictions, the logical reasons why there are currently restrictions, the actual excuses that Washington is using. This is the reason why, from their perspective, militarily, stopping glide bombs, creating a buffer zone, and hurting Russian logistics, the Kursk offensive, and Crimea. So these sections, this basically goes over the whole thing, what I've been talking about. He's much more well-researched, much more articulate. So instead of me embarrassing myself, let's actually listen to somebody who knows what they're talking about here. He lives in a war. Does that open him up to war crimes? I mean, he's already opened up to war crimes, right? He's already, all the international courts have after Bucha, it was all, sealed up, locked up, war criminal, right? You're official, yep, these are war crimes committed by you, Well, it's late, I'm asleep. Also remember the little fun game called Are You a Dumbass? Good old days. I still do it. Find me more dumbasses. The dumbasses run away scared from this fucking stream, I tell you what. Because I ban them. I do. You disagree with me? Get out of my fucking stream. Oh my God. If you don't have purple hair and believe that all children should get forced transgender surgery, you are a bigot. But no, thank you for coming, Comrade Chicken. So, like I said, we're gonna watch these sections right here. We're gonna start at why are there restrictions, and stopping glide bombs and all this other stuff. Let's get to it.
But that comes with
Ice
one
King.
major caveat.
Exactly. I give them chances. I do. I go out of my way to give them chances. Thank you, Ice King, for acknowledging that. This is the Gaber stream. This is. If you are currently not gay, then you are banned. Gotta make it gay and terrible. I'm sorry, that South Park episode was hilarious. It really was. They need better writers. It's not about the gay characters. It's about a good story. You know? The Acolyte sucked because it sucked. Borderlands 3 sucks. Well, it's great gameplay. You know, there's a great mod for Borderlands 3 that just like cuts out all the commentary. Apparently makes the game 100% better. It's bad writing. Make the stream gay and put a chicken in it. I feel so bad though for like gay characters because there's like you know, gay characters are amazing. They're interesting. You can do so much with them, and just as much as they're just like us, there's a lot of differences that's fun to talk about and things like that. And then it's like it's left up to Disney, and they're just like make the stupidest, most juvenile fucking stories possible, but make representation a big part of it, and that'll make up for shoddy writing and shoddy cinematography and shoddy directing. You know, like Ghostbusters, right? It's like, well, it's just a bad movie because they were just doing improv the whole movie. It had nothing to do with the gay character, the characters being gay, or anything about women. No, women can be funny. Gilda Radner, anybody? Fucking Gilda Radner. I only need to say one, okay? Gilda Radner would make you plots. Anyway, let's get back to it here. Full explanation, someone who actually knows what they're talking about. Trust, I highly recommend this YouTube channel, Lines on Maps, William Spaniel. He has a little plug for his books at the end of this. We're going to watch it out of gratitude for his work here. He does really good work. Trust me.
And helicopters. But that comes with one major caveat.
Neighborhood? No, I don't remember that one,
Ukraine is
Davey.
mostly limited to hitting targets on internationally
really woke.
recognized Ukrainian soil. And indeed, Kyiv has dutifully complied with that restriction,
The wokesters
not
ruining my
wanting to
Star
risk
Wars.
future arms shipments from its Western partners. It was not that big of a deal anyway. For the first couple of years or so of the war, there were plenty of valid targets to hit.
She's just okay,
and
Davey.
so the restriction did not matter much.
But that is a fair example, though. Where it's like, yeah, Melissa McCarthy has been funny. She can be funny. It's, if the script is right, but you do a Tammy. I mean, Tammy is a great example. I thought, I was expecting a good movie. It was a terribly written, saccharine, generic, formulaic, unfunny movie. It had nothing to do with her being a woman or the themes or anything like that. It was just a bad movie. Anyway.
However, now the war is all over the place. There is still the main Eastern theater, but now there is also a Russian incursion in Kharkiv and a Ukrainian offensive in Kursk. In Kharkiv, Russia was exploiting how it could just park materiel on the other side of the international border without worrying about Western weapons targeting them.
Strategic genius, right? Isn't that great? Right? They get to park their shit right outside the border. Line up a bunch of... Can't touch them. Joe Biden. Oh, no, that might be World War III. I'm so worried. Whatever his excuse was. And it's like, no.
To end that exploit, Biden, again seen here on a train, began permitting hitting targets in...
Credit where credit's due, okay? But, it's like... in for a penny, in for a pound. You're like, I've said this before, it's really derogatory, I apologize, but it's the best example I can think. It's like your dick is like halfway in, you know what I mean? You're like, your dick is in, dude. The sin is committed. The sin is committed. What are we talking about here? Oh, I'm not technically having sex. My dick is not all the way in. Hey, your dick is in
Russia, so long as they were a direct part of operations in Ukraine. Nevertheless, ATACMS remained off of the table, ostensibly because targets 300 kilometers over the border would not fit into that category. The restriction, of course, was due to Washington's fears of escalation with Russia, which is often attributed to National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan. Ukraine hawks have been very critical of the Biden administration on this point, as it has handicapped Kyiv's ability to win the war. Meanwhile, Blinken has been framing the reconsideration as a reply to Iranian escalation, specifically in the form of a ballistic missile shipment to Russia. On the other hand, Steps that would put the world one ladder rung closer to nuclear annihilation should concern everyone.
I love saying
Now,
it.
Russia would hardly be able to simply unsheath its nuclear weapons in response, given that the United States has its own nuclear arsenal to counteract Russia's nuclear arsenal. There is also the slight problem that China is adamantly against nuclear weapons use, and Russia needs China's support to maintain its conventional capacity in Ukraine.
No, it's this is why this guy is amazing, okay? Because nobody talks about this. I talk about it sometimes, right? But nobody talks about when they bring up the nuclear weapon boogeyman, how China's going to react. And no, it's not going to be positively in Russia's favor, folks. They're going to drop Russia like a hot turd is what's going to happen. Whoa, holy shit. We wanted nothing to do with this. We've got nothing to do with this, man. And they're going to have to go way out of their way to prove it. They're going to have to drop Russia. I mean, it's going to be, and Russia has to know this. Moscow has to know this. I bet you in secret talks and, in secret back and forth, China has said, look, make all the threats you want. That's fine. Never drop that bomb. Never drop that bomb. Because that changes everything. Okay, and watch our support disappear if you were to do that. Nobody, all the fear mongers, scaremongers, they never bring that up. But that's a great point. China, okay, they're not going to go along. Oh, what? Oh yeah. Russia fires a nuke and then China follows suit, huh? Right? Commies stick together for life, right? That's how communists work, right? Whoops, wrong button. No, honey, no.
But the problem with nukes is less of a deliberate attempt to use them, and more the risk of a catastrophic accident,
Seth Rogen gene.
which does increase every
Shut
rung
up.
higher on the ladder, even if it is hard to physically observe the difference. Aside from that, Russia has ramped up sabotage operations in Europe this year, and Western intelligence
want Taiwan
agencies
in
are
whole.
paying attention, even if the
don't
acts
want a
are
nuclear
flying under the
wasteland.
public's radar. These are the real drawbacks to escalation, as Russia is more likely to use them as tit-for-tat against Western attacks
Hold
inside.
on, what did he say? I was talking over that. What did he say here? MI6?
And Western intelligence agencies are paying attention,
Yeah.
even if the acts are flying under the public's radar.
Yeah, U.S. Germany foiled Russian plot to assassinate CEO of arms manufacturer. MI6 and CIA warns of reckless campaign of sabotage across Europe being waged by Russia. Yeah, they're up to no good. They're up to no good everywhere.
These are the real drawbacks to escalation, as Russia is more likely to
Pejoria.
use them as tit-for-tat against Western attacks inside of Russia, rather than jumping straight to nuclear explosions. Now, Putin has said that the approval of such weapons use is equivalent
plenty
to
more
fighting Russia
room
directly.
to escalate.
And while I believe that the escalation will go somewhere, again, like more drones flying around Western airports, or drones crashing in the Baltics, or attacks on Ukrainian ships near NATO waters, just remember that Russia's incentive here is to overhype the threat to try to deter Washington.
Yeah.
As a
'Cause
general
it
rule,
works.
you should not listen
it
to what
fucking
leaders
works.
say. Instead, you should watch what they do.
Exactly.
All told, whatever the specific escalation fear was, this had kept the United States from giving Kyiv the green light. But that only explains what was happening with the lack of ATACMS use. Remember, though, that Storm Shadow is a British design, and the United Kingdom has been a more ardent supporter of Ukraine throughout the war, perhaps because proximity to the war zone makes the conflict feel more important. So why has the United States been able to block Storm Shadow use on Russian territory? Well, American technology is used in Storm Shadow's targeting. As is standard in these sorts of affairs, that gives Washington veto power on international transfers. Though there is some weird gossip that 10 Downing Street never actually asked the White House for permission. Whether that was because successive prime ministers did not actually want to escalate, or because they already knew that Washington's answer would be no, is unclear. However, Russian advances in the east and the new operational challenges for Ukraine in Kursk forced Washington to reconsider the restriction. As such, we ought to examine some of the more obvious uses for the weapons, and whether they will actually help Ukraine in its battle. Let's start with the glide bomb problem. One of Russia's key innovations over the course of the war has been to fashion glide bombs out of existing explosives. Basically, the idea is to take something that goes boom, give that thing a pair of wings, attach it to a plane, fly up to a high altitude, release it, and let gravity and the airfoil do the rest.
Yeah, and we've seen it. It looks legitimately as crude as it sounds. Like, you know, some wings bolted on, motor, some dummy bomb that would have normally been below a wing of an airplane or a bomber. Fly that bitch in and let it blow itself up. It seems low tech, but it's actually the technology required for all that to work properly is actually quite advanced. That's why we haven't seen it until now. Yeah, crude, but it works.
The process is cheap and easy. Moreover, they deal a ton of damage to their targets,
as we've seen,
if you are willing
massive
to compromise on precision. But what made this plan so attractive for the Kremlin is that Ukrainian fighters could not engage Russian aircraft so far behind the borders, and the planes relaxed afterward on runways that fell behind the range of artillery that the West had provided. However, upgrading from a 70-kilometer Gimler's missile to a 300-kilometer ATACMS missile will put a whole bunch of extra airfields inside of Ukraine's crosshairs. And while Kyiv will be happy about the new capacity, to be clear, relaxing the restrictions will not be a game changer, a fact that further undermines the idea that granting permission at all would represent much of an escalation. Russia has been anticipating that Ukraine would get approval for long-range weapons for a while now, and has been moving its planes' resting places further back accordingly. Heck, it is even possible that the United States telegraphed its approval just to reduce escalation dynamics.
This is a great point. I don't think I've heard any other pundit bring this up, and this makes a lot of sense that just publicly making that statement was a signal to Putin that we're about to give approval, right? And it's more Joe Biden games helping Putin in a way.
Nonetheless, the extra distance will provide some value here.
Totally.
Even if they cannot strike the hangars that Russian planes are shifting to. The fact that Russia must put more strain on the fighters to fly further is a win by itself.
Absolutely.
Now, it is not much of a win, but it also comes at virtually no cost to Ukraine. After all, the mere presence of ATACMS or Storm Shadow, not the use, but the presence, forces Russia to keep its planes further back. And that is extra helpful when indicators are that supplies are running low in general. Put differently, it is basically a free win for Ukraine, even if a minor one. Okay, the next item is to create a buffer zone and generally hurt Russian logistics.
Yep.
This is where the bulk of the long-range work will be done. Given enough missiles, Ukraine can begin ravaging a wide band of territory. Now, the effects on Kursk will require special consideration, so let's table that for a second. For the rest of the northern area, Russia will have a hard time congregating any forces nearby. Presumably, that would ease Ukraine's defensive commitments in the region, allowing for more soldiers to plug holes along the eastern front. Russian progress there appears to have slowed from the August highs, in part perhaps because Russia is now starting to get serious in countering the Kursk offensive.
Yep.
Hold that thought for a moment.
Pulled troops.
What we can say more definitively is that Russia has moved away from its sprint to the city of Pokrovsk.
Yes.
Following the capture of Avdiivka earlier this year, what Russia had been doing since along the Donetsk front is aiming directly for this particular logistical hub. But the formation of this salient risked giving Ukraine an opportunity to flank Russian soldiers. As a result, Russia has spent more time trying to shift the southern part of the front line. After a couple of weeks, this was the result. And thus the tables have turned, with Russia now a step away from encircling Ukrainian forces here. Of course, slow rate or not, the gains are still a cause for concern in Kyiv.
Yeah.
ATACMS and Storm Shadow can help here by forcing Russia to further pull back its logistical networks. As a sample of this, take Rostov-on-Don. It is Russia's southern military district headquarters, and thus the de facto hub for the main thrust of efforts in Ukraine. You may also know it as the starting point for the Wagner Group's Thunder Run of 2023. But back to more pressing concerns. This is Russia's territorial control over Ukraine near the eastern border, with the previously discussed salient here approaching Pokrovsk. Well, the distance from there to Rostov-on-Don is only 223 kilometers. In other words, Russia could soon find all of its planning facilities and logistical hubs under fire.
Hell yeah.
None of that will doom Russia in the Donbass, of course, but it is one more headache that Ukraine can create and then exploit, or at least further stem the bleeding. Alright, the next topic of discussion is Kursk, and this is where things get complicated. Remember, Ukraine controls about 1,200 square kilometers of territory inside of that part of Russia. In terms of verified information, we still do not know exactly how the Kremlin is deciding to play this game. Ordinarily, you would think that having ATACMS or Storm Shadow unlocked ahead of any Russian counteroffensive would put Ukraine in the best position here. And that may prove to be right. But as alluded to earlier, suppose that the whispers are true that Russia is finally redeploying significant forces to Kursk from the east to deal with the invasion. Then one would expect that Ukraine is going to lose some ground as a consequence of the West's delay.
Yep.
After all, Ukraine is loath to risk many of its HIMARS vehicles by driving them into the contested space.
Makes sense.
And Ukraine's advance perversely means that Gimlers have less value coming from inside of the border.
Yeah, right now, there's still no guarantee how much of Kursk they're going to be able to hold, because Russia has only just now taken seriously taking this position back. So, this is going to be a true test of what Ukraine can accomplish here, because Russia's going to be pouring it on in the next month or so. It's a big nasty dash until winter, and then everything's going to slow down in the winter, right? And Ukraine's going to try to hold on to this during the winter months. Or maybe they're still making that decision.
The consequence is that Ukrainian soldiers cannot soften up the oncoming Russian assault to the degree that Kyiv normally would want to. Now, it will be all the more interesting if Russia is retaking ground on the western side, which is where problems with bridge logistics were supposed to be leaving its soldiers vulnerable. But regardless, Russia faces a risk over in Kursk. If Russia has predicated a counteroffensive here on Ukraine not having access to the long-range weapons, then there is likely an accumulation of supplies in the region to support the Russian soldiers. In turn, if Ukraine can find them, then there may be larger targets available than would have otherwise been the case.
Yeah, lots of new targets.
This draws an interesting parallel to how the Kursk offensive succeeded in the first place, which we have covered before. Russia strategized under the belief that Ukraine would be handcuffed in a particular way, specifically about how border crossings might work, only to find out that the initial assumption was wrong.
Yep.
Thus, 1,200 square kilometers were occupied.
That's right.
That said, I would
so the assumption was that Putin thought that he could operate this war without Ukraine, getting on their territory, attacking them. They thought it was all going to be one-sided.
Thus, 1,200 square kilometers were occupied. That said, I would imagine that Ukraine still feels uncomfortable about the entire situation.
Sure.
As a result, Kursk is the place to watch over the next couple of weeks.
Absolutely.
Finally, we have the topic that everyone wants to ultimately come back to.
Yep.
Crimea,
It's important.
specifically Russia's bridge that spans the Kerch Strait. Oh, that's Kerch, not Kursk. For 2 years, the structure has...
So, one thing that I thought, would be good to put on the table is, look, we're not, Ukraine's not going to give back Crimea. We're not, that's not happening. It's internationally recognized as Ukraine. It's already been, the contract was signed, whatever, the documents were signed. Crimea is Ukraine. I think a good compromise, though, would be to tell Russia we're going to keep the bridge, and Russians are going to be allowed to visit and vacation, and there'll be a special rule for Russians who want to visit Crimea. It will be Ukrainian 100%, but Russians will still be able to visit the area after the war. I think that would help. It's hard to imagine though how healing, like after the, but Russians appear to really give a crap about their ability to go here, but that might be a way to negotiate, some kind of concession. Like, okay, yeah, you can actually still tell Russians that they can still come to Crimea and nothing will change there. But it will, absolutely still be Ukraine's. That might be a compromise, maybe. I guess the more patriotic thing to do, though, would be to blow up the bridge immediately. I guess that would be the tempting thing to do.
Has been Ukraine's white whale, an oh-so-tempting target, but one that is not easily destroyed, despite multiple attempts.
That could not happen.
Well, Ukraine's situation is not getting much better here. For the sake of argument, let's overlook the feasibility of such an operation.
Sebastopol, that's in Crimea, right?
The distance between just across the Dnipro River to the Kerch Strait is about 280 kilometers, which is cutting it close for ATACMS, and probably a bridge too far for Storm Shadow.
Yeah,
there is also the problem that missiles of these types would have a hard time permanently damaging a bridge that size. Let's also overlook any possible political objections to this in Washington. Crimea, after all, is internationally recognized Ukraine, and indeed Kyiv has already been peppering the peninsula with ATACMS. Thus, either Kyiv thinks that it is infeasible, or Washington is vetoing that specific target. But for the sake of argument, suppose that Washington approves blasting the bridge, and that the distance and damage are no issue. What then? Well, it would undoubtedly make for major headlines around the world. But the time of the bridge's strategic prominence is past. After Ukraine failed to take much of anything during its 2023 offensive, Russia solidified its control over the land bridge to Crimea.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out that the path from Rostov-on-Don to Sevastopol via the land bridge is not much different than via the Crimean bridge.
Yeah.
Besides that, Russia has transitioned.
So that's probably why we haven't seen more attempts to take out the bridge, because they've secured a logistics line to Sevastopol without the bridge at all, and obviously that's what he's describing.
Different than via the Crimean bridge.
Twink era.
Besides that, Russia has transitioned much of its resupply efforts to the ferries that run across the strait. Now, those ferries have been on Ukraine's list of targets along the Black Sea. And indeed, ATACMS are a part of what is targeting the Crimean naval assets. But for the metal bridge's destruction to cause significant pain, Ukraine would have to further step up those attacks, and also lay waste to the road networks along the land bridge. That, in turn, would require a massive commitment of Gimler's artillery, which even then has a hard time getting the right distance. Given that there are more pressing concerns in Donetsk, it would be weird to see Ukraine make that effort. But then again, who knows what Ukraine is brewing? Meanwhile, if you care about what is brewing on my end, don't buy me a coffee. Buy yourself a book about the war. Check the video description for more information about them.
So definitely support him, help him out.
Self a book about the war.
He's writing some books. Help him out, folks. I'll give you the link here. Like and subscribe. Check him out. Really great creator. Straight to the point. Doesn't really seem like he's got much of a bias here. Does look like he's doing his research. And he definitely puts a lot of work into the videos to kind of add a lot of context to what he's saying, which helps dum-dums like me. But thank you, everybody, for your kind words in the chat. Davey over here saying, if Russia can't keep that base, they will never agree to anything. Ukraine total control over Crimea would allow Ukraine to block basically all Russian activities in the Black Sea. Well, that's just another negotiating, feather in your cap there. All right, mercantile, obviously no military, Black Sea's cut off. You're not allowed to, move your navy around the Black Sea. But yeah, you want to sell stuff, let's open that up. Let's negotiate. Let Russians vacation in Crimea. Let Russia continue to do business in the through the Black Sea. They wouldn't necessarily have to blockade all boats. It's just another negotiating chip, right? So Professor Timothy Snyder sounds familiar to me, but I don't know much about his history. Maybe you folks in the chat can help me out here. But his statement here is really quite good. I totally agree with it. Like I said, I don't know this guy's history. Why would Russia ever agree to that? Ukraine doesn't have that negotiating leverage. Well, they would if they were pushing Russia back. That, you know, the whole thing predicates on Ukraine being successful on the battlefield, right? And right now, dealing with, you know, because they're dealing with Joe Biden, they got one hand tied behind their back. But yeah, if they were able to, I only know about D. Snyder. But yeah, no, you're right. Right now, there's no leverage, but it would be, you know, obviously, you know, trying to, because at some point, if Ukraine continues to be victorious here, continues to push back Russia, a discussion about how Putin can save face needs to happen. That will be an important part of the discussion. But yeah, right now, you know, everyone's waiting for the goddamn election. Everyone's waiting. I want to see, is Trump going to get in there, ruin the world? Is Trump going to fucking destroy the world? So I wish Joe Biden would listen to Timothy Snyder here, because this is exactly the kind of shit that I'm talking about 24/7. Have a listen. 2 minutes long.
Part of being an empire is controlling the discourse. And to a large degree, the Russians have been able to control the strategic discourse.
That's fair,
setting
Davey,
up
that's
for
fair.
us new rules in war, which have never existed before. Like, for example, that when you invade another country, the entire war should take place on the territory of the country you've invaded. No one has ever said that before because it's completely absurd. And yet somehow it's been accepted in the United States as normal that this war should be fought on Ukrainian territory. There is no precedence for that kind of idea. Another idea that the Russians have that we've accepted is that it's normal, for example, when you and I were in Kiev, for ballistic missiles to rain down on the city where we were trying to do normal business, but it's somehow not normal for ballistic missiles from Ukraine to go into Russia. Why is that? Why is it normal for one country and not for another? It has a great deal to do with imperial thinking, which we have accepted. There's something precious, special, etc. about Russia, and somehow it's okay for Ukrainians to be victims because they always have been victims. We need to investigate, I think, that understructure of thinking, which I believe has guided our policy in the wrong way. So as far as empires are concerned, I'll return to what I said at the end, trying to respond now to your question about a victory plan. I believe the Ukrainians are right about something that they're hard pressed to convince us of, and I think what I'm saying now is consistent with the history of empire. The Russians are going to negotiate peace when they believe they are losing.
That's right.
And so if anyone is serious about negotiation, that person should be trying to get the Russians into a position where they think they might be losing.
That's right.
The Ukrainians get that, but they're having a really hard time making us understand that pairing. So when they talk about a victory plan or a peace plan, what they mean is together the West and Ukraine do enough to get Russia to a point where it might negotiate sincerely.
That's right.
They're not there now.
Yeah. How about that, huh? How about that? Spot on. Totally spot on. You know, and like he talks about the assumptions at the beginning of that video, right? He talks about the assumptions that Russia is making as an empire that Joe Biden is going along with. It's embarrassing. Who's running the show here? You're getting led around by the nose by some hack. Some shill. No, not some shill, sorry, but some hack. You know, it's embarrassing. Where's the leadership? You know, this is what I'm talking about. Leadership. Look, leadership implies risk-taking. And that's why the neoliberals are so bad at this. They don't want to take a risk. They don't want, oh, we're so scared to move, so scared to take a move. Oh, someone might say we're bad. Someone might say we did the wrong thing. They're afraid to take stands, afraid to make mistakes, or afraid to, you know, take the victory, take the dub here. Because that's what this is. Joe Biden could be the president that kicked Putin's ass. Instead, Joe Biden's scared. He's scared. So he's the president that Putin gets to manipulate. The U.S. has no experience with this. We have never had to negotiate when we think we're losing. Except we negotiated with the Taliban when we lost the war in Afghanistan. Except when we had to negotiate with the Viet Cong when we lost the war in Vietnam. Except when we negotiate with Cuba to keep our motherfucking black sites there. Oh, Cuba, we'd never work with a commie government, except we have property there. We have a fucking secret detention center, secret. We didn't negotiate the withdrawal? Fuck, we didn't negotiate. Fuck, we didn't negotiate. Of course we negotiated. So we're winners even when we're getting our ass kicked, huh? We're still number one, even though we're getting our ass kicked and fucking door up, the fucking foot up our ass as we're getting kicked out the door. We're actually still better than you. Getting pushed out the door. We're actually still way better than you, by the way. Negotiations were basically let us leave in peace and don't shoot us. That's all we ask. 'Cause I'm proud to be an American. That's all we asked, is to not shoot us in the ass as we run out the door. Davey, your American exceptionalism is adorable. Your American exceptionalism is adorable. It really is. Didn't you say you're Canadian? I am an American citizen, currently applying for citizenship in Canada. I'm currently an immigrant in Canada. I'm a permanent resident applying for citizenship. What did we negotiate then? Davey. Come on. Look, well, when if the topic, if I'm actually talking about that topic, I'll be happy to have that debate. LOL, you can't say. Well, I don't have I don't have everything ready to go, but of course there was negotiations for our surrender. And what is that? But I mean, but honestly, even if you're correct, even if I take you at face value, right? Which is a safe bet most of the time, unless you're talking about the IDF. So even if I take you at face value, all it is a technicality. All it is a technicality. It doesn't mean jack shit. You're all like John Wayning it, like America never negotiate our surrender. It's like, it's fine. That's like when Donald Trump didn't show up to his inauguration, right? It still happened. It still happened. It is like I said, we got their approval to withdraw without being attacked, nothing else. Sounds like a negotiation to me. We literally fled under fire. Okay. Yeah. There wasn't even any discussion with Ho Chi Minh or whatever. I thought I heard there was some kind of, give us a little extra time to get our boys out kind of business. I don't know. I don't know as much about Vietnam as I do World War II. I haven't hit World War II saturation yet, and then I'm going to start researching Vietnam. Those magazines are so cool. If you check out, I bought some really cool magazines from 1966 about World War II. I put them in the book recommendations. You can take a look. But they're as cool as they look, man. Some really cool stuff. Like one of the things was a translated letter from a German soldier who committed suicide after transmitting the message because he had lost his ship to Britain. It was amazing. So anyway, there's a real toll. Russia keeping up its terrorist operation, Russia making sure that the terror, that the Ukrainian civilians are always experiencing terror and intentionally attacking children, but also intentionally attacking elderly people. So here we have the latest example of Russia's terror strategy. While Russia distracts everyone with propaganda films about quote-unquote ordinary Russians, those same ordinary Russians shelled a nursing home today. Yes, that's right. A nursing home that houses 221 elderly and sick Ukrainians. But sure, tell us again that Russians are sympathetic to Ukrainians. You're seeing the evacuation videos from Saigon. That doesn't look negotiated. The U.S. fled in panic. Yeah, I mean, well, you could also say the same exact thing about Afghanistan. That's what I mean. It was like, yeah, there was a little conversation made. That doesn't mean everybody kept their promises. But I mean, how badly did we emulate Vietnam, the last helicopter out of Vietnam, with that display in Afghanistan? Motherfuckers falling off the plane. Falling off the plane. What an embarrassment. So speaking of embarrassing, this is really a fascinating video. So Kursk residents, Russians, who are currently being occupied by Ukrainians, they a couple of these nice ladies were asked by the Ukrainian military to watch some videos of Russian commentators saying, "Oh, we have to bomb Kursk. We have to annihilate Kursk. We have to destroy Kursk, blow up Kursk, blow it up, annihilate it, completely carpet bomb it." Russians saying that. Could you imagine? Can you imagine? I mean, I guess, in some twisted way, it does make sense, because I'm sure the Ukrainian military is taking advantage of this situation where Russia maybe doesn't necessarily want to, carpet bomb, like they do Ukrainian cities. Any Ukrainian city, like Pokrovsk was, is probably already heavily damaged, but they just systemically carpet bomb every region, every Ukrainian city, just completely annihilate it. So here we have Russian pundits saying, "Yep, that's what we got to do in Kursk as well." So here's what Russians living in Kursk have to say about that. And it's a little disappointing, but what can you do, right? What do you expect them to do? Have a revelation and move out of the country? Yeah, good fucking luck. Thank you, Clutch Cargo. Davey, come on, buddy. Davey. Look, can you accept the fallibility of the military-industrial complex or what, buddy? Every goddamn time. Every goddamn time, man. Your American exceptionalism just, opens you wide open for ridicule, my friend. Come to terms with the fact that America has a lot to admit. A lot of crimes, a lot of hypocrisy, that America is basically just as gross and dirty as all the other empires. And really, it's that humility, it's that kind of humility, that acceptance of fault, that is actually going to start a global peace movement. Please come to terms with this. Oh, come on. You're always just trying to find, come on. You're always trying to find ways. America number one. Humanity number one, Davey. Humanity number one. America is important. American culture is important. Yes, there is such a thing. And I know there is, because the A&W is completely different in Canada versus the A&W in America. So there is American culture. It's A&W. But no, seriously. Get over it. Get over it, man. Uncle Sam's hands are soaked in blood. And it really, the crimes of Uncle Sam, everyone's committed so many crimes, every empire, every country, and everybody just needs to come to terms with that. This whole idea, Israel better than Palestine, et cetera, et cetera. It's just beyond ridiculous. Israel is a unique case, though, because what do you do with the Zionists? They're never going to stop. What do you do with Zionism? It's not very peaceful. Anyway, that's a different conversation.
Те, що ваші зараз хочуть робити, щоб ви знали.
Это какой канал?
Считаю, что нам необходимо вот после того, что
случилось последнюю неделю в Курской области сделать такое возмездие. Вот надо их окружить и уничтожить все. Просто ковром, понимаете, недаром. Кстати, я надеюсь,
Bomb it all, bomb it all. This lady lives here, dude. This fucking lady lives here, man. They're both Russian. It's what? What? I've lived here my whole life. What the fuck?
К этому и готовиться, потому что недаром столько эвакуации.
Не будем
Иначе чего эвакуировать
наши
столько
планы,
тысяч людей?
да, я
тоже.
с вами согласен. Я с вами согласен.
Нет, это мое желание. Пока я не вижу.
Мое тоже желание. Я про это который день в эфире.
Если враг обосновался в захваченных селах, деревнях, населенных пунктах, в лесной полосе, то для того, чтобы его оттуда выбить, надо уничтожать все, что там находится. Так же, как это происходит на передовой линии фронта.
Ну да.
То есть уничтожать свои села, свои деревни, свои
Common sense,
леса.
all the forests, all the houses. What a horror! I lived here my whole life. Yeah, blow it all up. Common sense. Got no choice. No, nationalism has to go. National, and especially American nationalism. It's got to basically start with American nationalism. But there needs to be a recognition that culture, identity, the cultural identity, and the culture and identity of a country, all these things are extremely important. But there has to be a recognition of humanity beyond the nation, of mankind beyond the country. There has to be an understanding, and it's like it does feel like a whole like kind of evolution would have to happen to really come to terms. Like we had feudal lords and kingdoms, and then the first democracies started to happen, and I don't know, you know what I mean? Like it really does feel like we'll have to come to some kind of 2010 kind of scenario where we're helped along or something, right? Because it does require, it seems for a lot of people it stops with nationalism, right? That's their identity. That's what they believe. That's their politics. It's nationalism. They don't really acknowledge the connection beyond countries that all human beings have. Oh, you're getting hippie, you're crystal vibrations. But no, I mean, there's a universal 99.9% of human beings want the same exact things because we're the same fucking species, okay? Just because you were born in Germany or you were born in Russia and I was born in the United States, et cetera, that we all love a warm bed and a warm breakfast and a warm sex doll. We all want the same things, right? Looks just like Anna Kendrick. I don't know. First Hollywood person I could think of.
Михаил слишком как-то легковесно сказал, что вот можем развернуться, идти в наступление, освобождать Курскую землю. Они уже успели оборудовать опорные пункты, доты, дзоты, там долговременные точки. Они уже не стесняются, привозят плиты бетонные, уважаемые. Зеленский запросил, не забывайте, 27 экскаваторов, они все там пашут.
Blow them all
так
up.
вот,
Blow it
скажите,
up.
пожалуйста.
She's like, she doesn't even want to watch it anymore. He'd take your phone back. Doesn't even have the patience to watch it. Why bother?
Помогать никто, вы только помогаете.
They can't even watch the whole video, right? But what I mean, it's really the Russian citizen is really in a rock and a hard place here. What is she supposed to do?
И продуктами всем, они только языком мелют, уничтожать все.
Все равно вылезет. Я понимаю, что мы там кучка ненужных людей, но на всю Россию так говорить.
But yeah, that's a pretty telling statement right there. It's basically like, I know I'm unimportant, but to talk like that to all Russia, yeah, I mean, this is the separation, the political separation that Putin has designed and has encouraged. Vlad Vexler talks about this. This is why it seems so strange to people who live in democracies how Russia works. But there's a separation between the citizenry and the government. There's not exactly this expectation that the government is supposed to take care of you in the same way. And nationalism looks different as well. Death is a big part of is a big part of the nationalist culture in Russia, where that's not the case. Dying is of course heroic and all that in other countries, but But death is lionized in a way in Russian culture and society. I think, you know, it's with the military culture especially. I don't know, in a way that I've never seen before. Frightening. I call it nihilism. I don't know what you want to call it. But anyway, that was kind of a fascinating look right there. You know, pundits, media pundits saying, "Yeah, blow your home up, blow your home up." And she's surprised, but honestly, she shouldn't be. But like I said, what is the average Russian civilian supposed to do? You know, especially in these rural areas. You know, you're basically totally on your own. You're totally on your own. I mean, look at the state of all the, you know, sidewalks, roads, homes, regulations, none of that shit. You know, to get anything done, you got to bribe everybody probably. You're just totally on your own, and you kind of get used to that after a little while. So this video, look, I've written off Jill Stein. Next subject. Get ready to puke. But I've written off Jill Stein years ago, and yeah, I was an idiot. I might have voted for her because Hillary Clinton was utterly disgusting, and I was, you know, I would have voted for a fucking, you know, I would have voted for literally anything other than a Republican, right? So, but I was less savvy in 2016, so I admit it. This woman is a shill for Russia. Public service in Russia means you can now accept bribes. Yeah, I mean, it's a joke. Should have voted for me. You're right. I should have. This woman, I don't like to say this about, I don't say this about people unless I'm sure of it. Okay? So you contributed to, no, because I was living in San Francisco and I was part of the, you know, of course, you know, and anybody who's honest, this is so funny that Davey's mentioning that, but if all the people who voted for Jill Stein, all of us who voted for Jill Stein voted for Hillary Clinton, she still would have lost handily to fucking Donald Trump. And of course, there's no assumption that every Jill Stein voter would have gone to Hillary Clinton if they had no choice. So keep coping, Hillary bots. And I know that's not you, Davey. I know you're making fun of that, but yeah, keep coping, Hillary bots that are like, oh, Jill Stein killed her chances. No, what killed Hillary's chances was her dismal, apocalyptically dismal campaigning skills. Terrible. Pokemon go to the polls, didn't go to fucking Wisconsin, etc. I mean, you could, documentaries I'm sure have been made about her dismal performance against Donald Trump. She won debates, and then her poll numbers went down. You know, yeah, technically Hillary Clinton won. People just hate her. Why? What's the problem? But anyway, I don't say this. I don't say this, you know, for everybody, right? Like even with people like Tim Pool, who like been proven to take money from Russia, you know, like is he like going to move to Moscow? You know what I mean? Is he going to move to Russia? You know, is he like one of those types? Like, is he like a fucking like, no, he's just an idiot who took some money, $200K, you know, several times probably. So, but this woman is compromised, is what I'm trying to say. And I don't say that lightly. Scott Ritter is another person I have no problem saying compromised. Edward Snowden, I'm sorry. All right, I get the situation that he's in. That doesn't, you know, the information that he released, you know, collateral murder, that's very accurate. But that motherfucker's a Russian shill. And he's totally compromised by Russia. Edward Snowden. Oh, cry me a river for the Palestinians, but then fuck Ukrainians. That's Edward Snowden on his Twitter account. Look it up. Well, I don't say that shit lightly. This woman's compromised, though. Proof. Mehdi Hassan's an absolute beast. Check it out. Zateo.
We looked at your social media, and you haven't done that many posts specifically calling out Russian attacks on civilian areas. You haven't called Vladimir Putin a war criminal, but you have called Benjamin Netanyahu a war criminal.
No, actually we did. Yeah. In my very first remarks about the Ukraine war.
Oh, she did.
We condemned...
Vladimir Putin's a war criminal in your view.
Yes, we did
and Bashar al-Assad's a war criminal.
Yes, in so many words. Yes, we have said as much. So
You called Netanyahu one, which I think he is.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
Is Putin a war criminal?
So what we said about Putin was that his invasion of Ukraine is criminal. It's a criminal and murderous war.
And he's a
Neo
war
from the
criminal who should be on
Matrix.
trial.
Well, by implication.
You're struggling here to
let
say
me
something very simple.
yes,
This
well,
is
let
why
me
people
say,
have their doubts about
yes.
you and Russia.
Well,
Why is
let me
Benjamin
say,
Netanyahu a war criminal but not Vladimir Putin?
Well, as John F. Kennedy said, we must not be afraid to, we must not negotiate out of fear, and we must not fear to negotiate. So if you want to be an effective world leader, you don't start by name-calling and hurling
So how will
epithets.
President Stein negotiate with Israel then if you've called Netanyahu a war criminal?
Well, because he very clearly is a
Oh, so
war
Putin
criminal.
clearly isn't a war criminal.
Well, we don't have a decision, put it this way, by the International Criminal Court.
Yes, we do.
On
Yes,
for
actually,
his arrest.
actually, you're wrong. There's an
Oh,
arrest
and
warrant for
for the-
Putin.
for
There
the-
isn't yet an arrest warrant for Netanyahu. So
Yeah.
why is Putin not a war criminal but Netanyahu is?
Yeah.
I think
well,
they both
let
are.
me say,
You
let me,
don't.
well, let me say this.
Either you're a war criminal or you're not. Is
Actually,
Vladimir Putin a
hold
war
on.
criminal?
In so many words, yes, he is.
I don't know what so many words are. Butch, is Vladimir Putin a war criminal?
Let me say that whatever you think he is, if you
No, no,
want to pull
it doesn't
him
matter what I
back.
think. I'm asking what you
well,
think. You're running for president.
if you
I'm
are
not.
a world leader, you don't begin your conversation by calling someone a war criminal unless
So why
you
have you
have
called Biden and Netanyahu war criminals?
because we have a clear strategy and we
Doesn't
have
make
a
any sense to
very
me.
strong.
Oof. 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 Just move to Russia. Just whatever your deal is. I don't know what it is. I don't know what your connections are. I'm not going to speculate. It's the simplest question in the world. It's the simplest question in the world. I literally just showed you a picture of an old folks' home that was intentionally targeted by the Russian military and hit with Russian military ordnance. There's so much evidence. There's so much evidence. It's irrefutable. It's irrefutable. You know, it really is. Full stop, period. There is no question. International community, they all agree. Everyone fucking agrees. It's the simplest question in the world. It really is. It's one of the simplest. And she simply danced around it. So just get the fuck off the stage. Get the fuck off the stage. You know, and you know, I don't know if I showed it on stream, but it was in the Discord. You know, I think Davey and I talked about it briefly. But you know, she was, you know, she's been running for president, and she was running, you know, holding up a bunch of, you know, anti-Kamala signs without holding up any anti-Trump signs, and that's been pretty consistent. She's happy to criticize Kamala, fair, right, on the Israel stuff especially. But you know, her history as a prosecutor, et cetera, plenty of places to criticize Kamala on. Nowhere on the Trump stuff. Silent on the Trump stuff. There's a reason. There's a reason. So, just wanted to show one more example. If you're not sure about Jill Stein, don't bother. She's not a good alternative. I don't know what her motivation is. It could very well be she's cashing checks directly from the Kremlin. Right? Maybe, maybe not. Whatever her motivations are, she can't answer a simple question. You get flushed. I do this shit on the stream, right? Right? All you need to do is ask. Sometimes all you need to do is ask a simple question to understand exactly, you know, what direction people are going in, right? With Ukraine, Russia, it's always, you know, is the invasion justified? Oh, well, yeah, it's justified. Yeah, they're defending themselves. They're defending. The fuck out. The fuck out. You don't need to tell me any more bullshit. Cornel West is more nuanced on his positions on these things, and I wouldn't cancel him for that. I will cancel him, though, for all of a sudden, out of the blue, having vaccine. Well, so I covered this, right? People are criticizing him for vaccine skepticism, but really what he was talking about was an independent panel of citizens that could double check Big Pharma and and make sure that Big Pharma is being honest to people, which is honestly something that I can't hate. So even the vaccine stuff, like I like Cornel West, I really do. But it's really interesting to me. It's really shocking to me that somebody who is such a political figure in my eyes, you know, is so bad at politics. You know, because like he's such a thinker, he's such a scholar, he's such a, you know, charismatic guy. You would think, boom, dude, that's my guy. That's my guy. But then he comes out of the gate stumbling, making some really, really Bush League political mistakes. You know, the Jimmy Dore party, then the Independent Party, then the Green Party, then the Independent Party, and then it just any third party political run that isn't talking about changing the Electoral College first before anything else happens is a complete waste of time. I don't think Cornel West should drop out, but I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm surprised that Cornel West has fallen flat on his face. He kind of sucks on ice when it comes to politics. I don't know what to say. Put me on your fucking team, Cornel. I could tell you how to get more attention. That's for sure. Positive attention. Maybe I can't. Maybe I'm a complete hack. I don't know. But he came out with the Jimmy Dore party. I was like, no, dog. What are we even? I literally said, look, this is the only thing I'm going to talk about with Cornel West, and then I'm never going to bring it up again because this is a failure out of the gate. Cornel West announced the presidency under Jimmy Dore's. I don't know. I filled my diaper party. I don't know what the fuck his party's name was. Then he went to Green, and then he went to Independent. I ignored it all. Complete waste of time. With that said, he is a brilliant academic, an intellectual, and an eloquent speaker when it comes to race and equity and a myriad of other topics. But don't take his advice on how to run for president. That's for goddamn sure. So I wanted to talk about this. Look at these fresh-faced, 19, 20-something-year-old conscripts from Russia. But look how happy they are to be taken prisoner by Ukraine. Look how happy they are. Look how relieved they are.
Депозит. Деп. Том. Пуля.
А ты как?
Воробей.
Воробей? А чё воробей?
It looks like they were sent right to the front and they gave up swiftly and promptly, and that's how you do it. That's how you do it. Now, what's unfortunate is that, these guys will likely be part of prisoner swaps, and they'll be sent right back to the front line, and likely some of them might even be sexually assaulted because they gave up the first time. That's how the Russian military works. So it's not going to be all, flowers and roses for these guys. Their life is going to be a living hell after they've been transferred. They will likely, like I said, be sent right back to the front. Right now, hey, they don't have to worry about drones flying ahead. They don't have to worry about artillery strikes. They get to live another day, and that's pretty clear on their face. Is that they're pretty stoked that they're getting taken prisoner and that they're no longer in danger of getting completely destroyed.
Летаешь, как воробей.
I mean, look at them. Do they look scared? They look stoked.
Ну ты уже прилетел, походу, да?
This is me.
На базе.
I was playing Xbox
Пират
6 weeks
живой
ago.
остался, малой. Нормальное отношение к тебе тут, да? Что Путину передашь?
Пламенный привет.
Насколько пламенный?
So, unfortunately, we don't have the fucking subtitles. Sorry.
Скажи, чтоб ты...
Yeah, Johnny Bananas. It's fucking Johnny Bananas out there, man.
Слава Украине.
But it works.
Героям
Oh, that hurts. I love it when they make him do that. I love it when they make him do that one more time.
Точно.
Слава Украине.
Героям слава.
I love it every time. I love it every time. Slava Ukraine. Ukraine. Okay, so this video is not very funny. No, it's okay, Chem Goblin. Don't worry, it's not worth it. We get the gist, right? Why are you here? I don't know why I'm here. I don't know. I'm a dumbass. Well, it's not kids from the wealthy suburbs of Moscow and St. Petersburg dying in Ukraine. There's some, but not a lot yet. And you know, this whole talk about, oh, you know, Putin saying, oh, we're gonna convert to total war. Watch out, we're gonna get you. It's like, okay, yeah, go ahead, yeah, say, you know, go into a full total war stance. See how well that's gonna affect your politics. People love that. People love that. Putin just announced he's going to be rounding up 180,000 more. It doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise me. So this video here, trigger warning, folks. This is what PTSD looks like. This was filmed in Russia. This is a soldier who has lost at least one of his legs, maybe both of his legs. At least one of his legs, though, is an artificial leg. He is having a episode. He's having a complete breakdown, and I've seen this happen on video. I'm not an expert by any means, but I've seen other soldiers. I've seen this happen in America and in other countries. I've seen videos of this happening. You can kind of tell the look on his face. You can kind of tell it's not, you know, this isn't like he's having a disagreement with these people and, you know, and he's having some kind of, you know, fight. This is him, you know, kind of being transported back to the battlefield. Like I said, I'm not an expert, but this is tragic. And this is exactly what Putin is doing to his people. You know, Putin would prefer this man have died so that he doesn't have to pay for his health care. He's probably completely abandoned in a, you know, dumpy ass Russian rural neighborhood. He's totally screwed, lost his limbs, completely abandoned by his country and military, left to fend for himself. And of course, he's, you know, he probably has PTSD. You know, every time he hears a drone or anytime he hears an electric motor, you know, he's probably getting triggered, thinking he's, you know, he's about to get fucking creamed. I mean, who knows? You know, think about the, you know, the stuff that happened to Americans, you know, Nam kind of flashbacks. Well, you know, I've shown you videos of what those drones sound like. And it's like they sound like hellish harpies, you know, and they will kill you. They pinpoint you and they kill you. It's got to be so psychologically traumatizing, and this is what Putin is doing to his people. You know, God knows what this guy went through, you know. And look, man, my plea is to the Russian people. The only hope outside of Ukraine kicking Russia's ass, the only hope is the Russian people saying enough is enough, and maybe this will help make that case, you know. So yeah, you know, the guy's laughing, you know, silly walking. That I've seen that stance before. I've seen that stance. I've seen guys having manic episodes and they're walking around like that. I've seen that before, but you know, like I'm not an expert or anything. But, so he's just, you know, just fucks with her. Swats something out of her hand. Next part is scary.
Давай, проваливайся по своему.
So obviously he's completely drunk. He's hurting himself, and it's that look on his face right there. It's that look on his face. It's full, you know, full blown PTSD. You know, he's in another fucking universe right now, and he's totally abandoned. He's totally abandoned. This is what Putin is doing to his people. For what? Good God, for what? Why? So you can put a Russian flag in Kyiv? Same look in the eyes, 1,000-mile stare.
I'm going to tell you guys right now, whoever could go toe-to-toe with me, head-to-head, push-up to push-up, let's get it. Let me be quiet and go in my own house that I earned with my blood, my sweat, and my...
Right. So this guy is roided out. This guy isn't exactly having a military PTSD moment. This guy's on drugs, dude.
Cheers. Top of the morning to you.
He's getting carted away in a fucking ambulance.
Cheers. Top of the morning.
Oh my God, dude. Ex-soldier? Okay, ex-soldier. Man, he's totally fucking cut. But yeah, similar stuff, totally. Yeah. It's tragic. It's actually tragic. I'm not going to sit here and make jokes like people in the comments section. Oh, you know, because like I get it. You know, Russia needs to get out of Ukraine. It's you know, they're not innocent. But at the end of the day, it's like what Putin is doing to human beings is a tragedy. Will it be remembered as that? You know, well, you know, who knows? Who knows what history will say about it? But when I see something like that, and I just shake my head and I say, that's just, you know, tragic. That I bought my own house that I bought. I don't know. I've been angry before. I get that kind of angry, but you know, there's no excuse for it. I've rarely been more regretful than when I've made bad mistakes while angry, right? Well, it won't be funny if they go off and commit mass killings. That's, you know, and that's I haven't really mentioned that, but that is, you know, we've already seen that. That's actually already happened. I think Chem Goblin has shown us, and I think I've reported on that. We've already seen some of these guys come back. There was the one video I showed was totally insane. Soldier come back, had a grenade, was like there was like he was you know, hanging out next to an apartment complex, and some kids came up, they're like, oh, blah blah blah, oh, you're from the war, yeah, you're a soldier, and he was like showing off. He was like, hey, check this out, how cool is this? Pulls the pin on the grenade and throws it, you know, 20 feet away or something, and it blows up. I don't think anybody was hurt. But it's like, whoa, dude, the mom completely freaks out, right? Because the grenade blows up and the kids are like crying. Everyone's crying. And he's like, isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? No, that's not cool. Yeah, Davey, you know, you know, as men, you know, if we want to be Ubermensch, we want to be alpha, right? Am I doing this right? Okay. If we want to be Uber alpha, Ubermensch men, we do have to learn how to control our anger. We also have to understand the value of anger, why that exists, and how we can use it to our benefit. But that is a skill that requires my 5-course YouTube subscription. It's going to cost you $99. It's very useful. It's all about how to get extremely angry and then channel that anger like Goku. So give me the money and you get those videos. Alpha male, fellow alpha male, Chad, alpha Chad male. This video, I'm not going to set it up. I'm not going to give any explanation to you. It's 3 minutes long, but trust me, stick around to the ending. Stick around to the ending. Trust me.
Блядь. Я говорю, что вас здесь 6, ебать.
Не знаю, где тут 6, блядь, не знаю.
Okay.
Вот двое здесь.
Davey is more Klingon. No, Davey's Ferengi.
Двое нас, 4. И один там.
Davey's Ferengi.
Нас 3 человек всего. 3, вообще, да. И больше я не...
то, что сам пошел проебался, как его позывной?
Не знаю я его как позывной, я хуй.
Ferengi with Klingon cousins.
Бля, я доложу нахуй за эту хуйню все, ебать. Как это пошел с людьми и проебался?
I don't know this reference.
Пошел нахуй за жратвой. Он сначала отводил одного 300-го, отвел. Пришел, принес жратвы. Потом на другой день пошел опять жратвой, пропал. Куда пропал, хуй его знает, блядь.
Ебать.
So I'll give you a little information so you're not totally confused. There's a soldier speaking to other soldiers right now, but there's a twist here. Russian soldier talking to a Russian soldier, but there's a twist.
Блядь. Почему мы должны идти искать здесь вас, нахуй? На что больше заняться нечем, нахуй?
The guy on camera thinks he's getting reprimanded.
Проебался где-то, нахуй. А где ел? Вам приходил? Да.
So he's not leaning up against the tree because he's tired. He says why he's leaning up against the tree, and it makes perfect sense. This just gives you the reality of the battlefield.
Приходил, а куда он идет, хуй его знает.
А с кем он сам был?
А?
Сам он уже должен был вам радейку принести.
Ничего он нам не принес, нихуя. Я его нашел, радейка, она разряжена, блядь. Он на дороге здесь нет, блядь. Опа.
Блядь, это, сука, хохлы ебаные летают.
He's got to get out of line of sight there. Then he's out there again, standing around, whatever. Great discipline.
Да мне вон там секунд 10 за водой тогда. Я быстро расставить.
Минус, отдыхайте.
6 секунд, да.
So if you notice, the guy's asking a lot of questions.
Я вообще с автобатами. Это уже нехватка людей, насколько же уже из автобата людей тянут. Ага. Короче, да. Что я хочу вам сказать, мужики?
Uh-oh, big reveal, boys. Big reveal.
Хочу вас поздравити. Тому що ви попали в руки чистокровного українця, нахуй.
Whoops, he's Ukrainian.
Не буває, мужики. Кулі зробиш. Їбалом в пол ліг. Бестро, сука,
Now get your
їбалом
ass down on the fucking ground.
Руки за голову.
Приняли?
Bitch.
Будете все говорити, до вас гарантую жизнь.
These dumbasses, these fucking goobers, thought they were talking to a Russian soldier, and we've seen this before. These we're talking about alpha chads, right? We're talking about some of the brassiest of balls, okay? Walking around behind enemy lines. Remember the last one I showed you where the Russian thought he had a timed explosive tied to the back of his neck, and it was just a fucking stick. Ukrainian, right, getting information on these trench lines without, sneaking in and killing anybody and taking a bunch of people hostage or, prisoner, I mean, without killing anybody, just using the Russians' own stupidity against them. They really are, they're just sad sacks out there. The guy's peppering him with all kinds of questions about the makeup, right? And he's basically pretending to reprimand him, reprimand them. Classic movie shit, right? Like, Tom Cruise did it, right? In Mission Impossible, when he was dressed up like a Russian general, he starts acting like a boss, and they all just, oh, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. I've seen it, but switch. The Russian was dressed as Ukrainian. Yeah, so that's a different video. Yeah, he pointed the gun at Ukrainians. Ukrainians yelled, we were friendly. Yeah, and then that was an early video at the beginning of the war, and that was really just a totally crazy war. That's just crazy war. But this is brass-balled Ukrainians who speak fluent Russian, traipsing around behind enemy lines and doing some real amazing stuff. Why are none of them wearing anything that could set them apart? Yeah, so he's asked in the video, how come you're not carrying a weapon? And I think he says something like, oh, it'll take me about 10 seconds to get my weapon. But it's basically just a complete breakdown of discipline, right? These guys, when they get out there, it's survival mode. They don't get, sometimes they don't get food and water, and they got to go procure their own stuff, and they got to hunt probably for fucking, hunting rabbits and stuff. These Russians get out there. They're sorry situation, right? So they probably, the discipline, like holding their weapon, probably that probably goes right out the window pretty quickly when you're just trying to scrounge up enough food and water to survive until the next day. Yeah, one should abandon nihilism. It's the cancer that's infecting the earth. So this is amazing footage. You know why you come here, because I got that juicy footage. This is wild. The whole, I don't know what they're packing in these drones nowadays, but it is not the same hobbled together hand grenade concoction. Like these are some big booms. I don't have time for assholes today. I've been begging, dying. Where is it? I've been dying to hit this. Where'd I put it? No. Hold on. Oh, there it is. There it is. I don't have time for assholes right now, so I'm just going to go ahead and do this. There we go. Thank God. I've been dying to hit that button.
Bitch, I block you on PayPal too. I block a bitch in real life. My block list jumping like Dwight. Bitch talking about take me off the block list. I sport plus mode you to the block list. I get out my sleep, start blocking shit. I block a bitch on Gmail. I block a bitch on Yahoo. I block a bitch on Hotmail. I block a bitch on AOL. I block a bitch off SoundCloud. I block a bitch off the YouTube. I block a bitch on Snapchat.
Okay, so moving on. Did you see the close-up video of the depot explosion from Russian View? I might have shown that video, but I'll go ahead and click that. Anyway, back to this video. It does not disappoint. Let's watch.
У фільмі режисера Кріса Коламбуса
I don't know why there's Christmas music. They're starting to get really esoteric. One time I saw a war video, and it was literally some raw audio recording of somebody having a conversation with somebody at a cafe. I don't know, man. They're getting real weird with the backing tracks. I don't understand the Christmas connection here. But look at the boom. You can see it right here, kind of, and then it's movie intro credits. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, now it makes sense. It's movie intro credits, guys. God damn. The house filled with sand? What the hell? What is this building material? Oh, is that insulation? Oh, that's insulation, dog. Is this a building in Kursk or is this a building in Ukraine? Damn, that's nasty. That's nasty. Fly it through the window. Yep, went right in the window, dude. Right there, open window, right there. Goes right in. Zip. Nasty. They're presenting it like a movie. Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you for helping explain that. It's still ridiculous. It still doesn't make a goddamn lick of sense to me. Okay. A tank round? No, that a drone, little robot guy right here. Zoop. Little robot coming on in. Open window. It's from Home Alone, huh? Oh, is that the reference? I don't know. I think it's I think it's kind of like fucked up. I think it's a little fucked up, dude. Like someone, if anyone was in that house, they're dead. Okay, like I get black humor, but this is like this is this is as black as it gets, man. Ah ha ha. I mean, this is war. This is if this is Ukraine, attacking Russia and succeeding, that's a great thing. It's still nasty, people are dying out there, man. We got to I don't know. Can we not I don't know, man. It just seems extra tasteless. Extra bad. I don't know why. I can't put words to it. So I wanted to show this. We're not going to watch the whole 10 minutes of this video, really just the beginning, because he put this out 1 day ago, so this is back to William Spaniel here, but we're only going to watch, like I said, a minute, basically. But this is kind of where Ukraine and Russia are at right now on the battlefield, and this is it's a pretty good animation, so I thought I'd show it. Once again, thank you, big props to William Spaniel for providing this amazing resource so that we can learn more about the situation. Make sure you like and subscribe, folks. Couldn't recommend his channel enough. I really am enjoying the content. I think I'm going to subscribe soon myself. Would definitely check it out.
We need to situate ourselves in Kursk. Consequently, if you have been following the war closely prior to the ongoing Russian counterattack, then you can safely skip ahead to the next chapter.
Yeah, clutch cargo.
Anyway, with all the focus on the war on the Eastern Front, Kyiv decided to pivot up here to Kursk Oblast. When Ukraine first broke through the lightly guarded border region back at the beginning of August.
I'm sorry, this is the wrong video. I have the wrong video queued up. This is the history of the Kursk thing here. Hold on here. Russia's 3 options. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. This is the wrong video. Let's move on to the next one here. So this was reported 2 days ago, and I wanted to show this one. We're going to show kind of two reporting from Ukraine videos in a row. But I wanted to show this here because this really does show, Ukraine is their strategy in Kursk is succeeding. Next week, though, is really going to be the next couple weeks is really going to be the true test because Russia has moved tens of thousands of reserves in there, and we're going to see a big, hurried, expedited push. Like I said, they're trying to get ahead of winter. They want to push Ukraine out of Russia before winter hits. They don't want Ukraine getting really comfy, digging in, using the winter to slow everything down. They don't want that. So they've got reserves here. So the next couple weeks are really going to be some incredibly intense fighting in this area. I can't get over the shaved face. Shut up. Leave me alone. Let me see your face, Bubbles. Let me see your face, buddy. Sorry to go for a second. Had you seen that video? Oh, wait, I forgot to click it. Let's click on Davey's link here. Hold on. This is that massive ammo dump explosion. No, so I showed a different POV video. I thought it was going to be the same one, but I did not have this POV video. Let's go ahead and take a look. We're going to be talking about Gaza tomorrow. Long and short of it, it's a terrorist attack. It's the definition of terrorism. The fact that it's called the Hezbollah strike. Yeah, we're going to cover how the media is insisting on calling this a strike exclusively against Hezbollah. It was an indiscriminate attack on civilians that likely did hurt Hezbollah, but it's terrorism. It's it's terrorism when the United States does it, and gets people indiscriminately killed because we're going after, There is a definition. There is a definition. Terrorism is violence committed against people for the sake of politics. So yeah, I think I also don't think it's very effective. I don't think it's going to stop Hezbollah. I don't think it's going to, the only thing it's effective at doing is getting Bibi Netanyahu getting more support into, a larger conflict, getting stuck in longer so that he can stay in power longer. It's great for that. Hezbollah, what did, was it Lebanon say they're at war now? Something like that. So we're going to cover it tomorrow. Get into it really deep. But yeah, pager shit. Not a good thing. I guess it's novel. It's novel technologically. I'll try to give it credit there that it's a novel way to create chaos. It's something like a Batman villain would come up with. I feel like it's something, that a fucking mustache twirler would come up with. So, another win for Zionism, I guess. Another way to scare the hell out of everybody and hurt a bunch of people. Okay. Did you have a pager in your beard? No, look, I explained this at the beginning of the stream. I sucked my beard back into my body for sustenance, because I couldn't afford the expensive food at the airport because I went to a funeral. So I sucked my beard back. Look, alpha males can do this. You're not an alpha male, so you don't know how to do this. It's okay. It's fine. Some of us are better. It's just how it is. But I sucked my beard back into my body, okay? It's whatever, right? I just do that. How many innocents are worth the kill? I mean, I don't, none. The only way to stop terrorism is with a happy and healthy middle class. Not with a rifle, not with a bullet, not with a bazooka, not with a fucking plane, not with a gun of any kind. If you have a terrorism problem, that means you have a society problem. You have a political problem. I know, Chem Goblin, I should have. Well, they confiscated, I brought a little bit with me, but they confiscated it. They just said, "Sir, is this garbage?" And I said, "Well, technically it was." They said, "Sir, you can't take this on the plane." Fucking stuck-up snobs. I mean, it would save killing a few would save a bunch would be arguably justified. Davey, you're really going to be talking about justifications and the IDF and Israel. We're going to go down that road again, really. So you sound like Davey from a year ago telling me how, you know, the IDF has a clear military plan to take out Hamas. If you want to kill terrorism, treat people like human beings. That's how you destroy terrorism. I didn't mention the IDF. True. True. Didn't mean to put words in your mouth. Damn, yeah, get the kids out of there. Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, I talked about this when we were seeing this explosion, like, you know, this is going to be horrific to people that are like 50 miles away from it. I mean, this is way too close. How close do you think this is? Probably feel the heat. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, so that's the big one. That's the big one right there. How close do you think they are? They don't make terrorists when taking out actual terrorists. Look, this... I mean, America completely... You know, America made the biggest push ever for... You know, violent. You know, the only way to kill terrorism is, you know, with not negotiating. No, we can't. You treat them like animals. Kill them all. Kill them all. And America fell flat on its face. $2 trillion spent in Afghanistan fell flat on its fucking face. I'm after that boondoggle. I'm utterly convinced that there's no military solution to terrorism. The only solution to terrorism is a happy and healthy middle class, treating people like human beings, finding peace, finding compromise. Because what are the motivators for terrorism? Inequality, inequity, religious bigotry, you know. How close? They look really fucking close. Too close. I can see why. You know, you're probably feeling the heat. Looks like it might be the same military base. These could be the families of the soldiers stationed at the base. Oh, wow. I work at a military depot in the U.S. and there are civilian families living in the base. You might be right, Davey. Yeah, because the building doesn't look like a school or a residential. It does look more military, but these are definitely women and children. But they are super close. They are super effing close, dude. So very interesting stuff. Let's see what the tweet says. New footage from the first minutes of the attack on the Russian ammo depot in Tropets, Vir, region of Russia, released by Astra. Yeah, you know, the jokes, man. Come on, we're literally this woman is screaming in terror. I get it. She's the enemy. I get it. But come on, man. It's like that fucking, what's that financial movie? Remember Brad Pitt? He's like, just don't dance. Big Short. Remember when he tells those two idiots, yeah, great, you're rich, but just don't dance, just don't dance. Right? Don't make a bunch of jokes. She's screaming in terror, for God's sakes. Have some fucking humanity. Does she care about Ukrainians? No, of course not. I get it. I get it, though. Like, if you're a Ukrainian and you're not tripping about this, I get it. I get it. It's tough. How could you care? All right, so let's get back to this video over here. Thank you, Davey. That was a very interesting video. I had not seen that one. Very interesting perspective right there. But I wanted to show this video, and then the next video we're going to see is the absolute latest on the battlefield, because, like I said, Ukraine is really, this is a bold strategy, and it's a gambit that's winning. It's a gambit that's working. And that's very important. Because let me tell you, the bad actors, if this whole thing went tits up, and it still could, technically, right? We still could have a situation where Ukraine, big chunks of the Ukrainian military get, surrounded and then captured. That could be a huge disaster in Kursk. I don't think that's likely, but the cards are on the table there. But, this would be seen, look, the Ukrainian military, they can't handle it. They tried something crazy. They failed. Why are we spending money on this, et cetera, et cetera? Like, this would just be more fuel for the defeatists to try and inject a bunch of doubt into the narrative. So it's really great that this is a big victory, because that's probably why you haven't heard much about it, because it's actually, so far, been a successful, bold strategy so far.
Today, the most interesting developments come from the Kursk direction.
Yeah,
Here,
Johnny
Ukrainian
Bananas,
forces
kind
have
of in a
launched
way.
a daring
Yeah.
flanking maneuver, breaking through Russian defenses and putting the entire Russian strike force on the verge of encirclement.
Hell yeah. Hell
This
yeah.
bold maneuver could completely neutralize Russia's counteroffensive and give Ukraine an ultimate upper hand in this region.
I want to see, baby.
As reported last time, Russians took control of Snagost and re-established ground lines of communication with the Glushkovo pocket. However, to keep Russians cut off from the mainland, Ukrainians kept the road under strict fire control with FPV drones. Russians knew that to eliminate the threat of Ukrainians launching another attack and cutting off the pocket again, they had to push Ukrainian forces further west. Russian military sources reported they launched a series of infantry assaults on Byakovo, Внезапno and Gordievka and had captured these minor settlements. Russians launched a spearhead mechanized assault on the settlement of Lubimovka, a slightly larger settlement that Ukrainians are able to use as a launching point for future offensive actions. Taking control of Lubimovka would allow Russians to sever the Sudzha-Korenevo road and cut off and outflank Ukrainian positions further to the north. Ukrainians report that Russians launched the assault with 2 tanks, 11 BMD infantry fighting vehicles, and 1 armored personnel carrier. Geolocated footage shows how Ukrainians destroyed the Russian armor as it advanced toward the town with anti-tank mines, Javelin ATGMs, and FPV drones mounted with anti-tank weapons. If you want to get access to the original unset or the link in the description. Interestingly, the BMD-2 vehicles that Russians used for their assault
So Kanye West, we were talking about that earlier. On the 12th, Joe Biden's team, or the White House, hinted that they were going to lift these restrictions. So we've been waiting there. We also watched a segment that kind of explained why some of these restrictions are in place currently, and how that would change the battlefield, even though it wouldn't directly lead to like Russia losing the war or anything, but it would be more headaches for Russia that they would have to deal with, more complications for them. There's a lot of good logistical reasons to do it. But yeah, Joe Biden still sleeping. Still sleeping. Yeah, and Davey might be correct that we're waiting till after November because once again, Joe Biden, the political genius who thinks, yeah, the American people are going to think I'm weak if I'm kicking Putin's ass. They're going to think I'm a bad guy. They're going to think I'm a really bad guy and a really bad leader if I'm fucking wiping the fucking floor with Vladimir Putin. That's going to make me look bad. That's how the neoliberals think. Right? Because there's a chance that it doesn't work out. There's a chance that Zelensky might lose. Oh, well, then I'll look, I started World War III. Oh, no, all the bad things that could happen to me. Complete coward, Joe Biden. Complete fucking coward. It's a talking point for it's only a successful talking point for Republicans because the Democrats are not owning this at all. They've cowered to that talking point. They've cowered to the financial talking point. Oh, you're wasting so much money in Ukraine. Oh, run away from the subject. Even though it's like the most nationalistic fucking patriotic thing that you could be fucking doing. Yeah, no, but instead of owning it and saying it's actually patriotic to fight against dictators, to actually defend Ukrainians' democracy, instead of owning it and making it a big deal. Yeah, they cower. They cower at the first fucking argument burped up by the fascists. Oh, too much money. Oh, cower and hide. Oh, this is bad now. Oh, no, we should have never helped Zelensky. We should have let Putin win because we're so bad at politics. It's pathetic. It's fucking pathetic. They could have owned this. They could have, like I said, Joe Biden could be the president that kicked Vladimir Putin's ass. But no, they cower. They cower and play politics with the fucking fascists. They're so pathetic, it makes me sick. Neoliberals.
To Russian VDV airborne infantry units. This, along with the reports from the Institute for the Study of War stating that Russians redeployed several naval infantry or marine battalions, indicates that Russians have redeployed more combat-effective units to launch these assaults. Most other Russian units along the front line in Kursk are either conscripts, Donbas volunteers, police, or even just guards of military facilities.
Listen to that. Listen to that. So they're just the scraping up anyone they can find, and I've seen a different video. The video that I just showed you of those soldiers getting duped. They were telling the Ukrainian that was pretending to be Russian. They were telling him, yeah, we're from the automotive unit. They're sending troops in from the automotive unit. Like, we're not even trained for combat. We're trained to fix up tanks and stuff. So they're sending in police and all different kinds of semi-militarily trained anybody, anybody that has any kind of pseudo-military training whatsoever, scraping them up, sending them in there. Davey, wishful thinking, buddy. That's not what Putin thinks. That's not what Viktor Orban thinks. That's not what Bibi Netanyahu thinks. You know what I mean? They think our guy's in there. They think that Trump's our guy.
This means that Russians are not yet able to launch a full frontal counteroffensive,
we're not gonna talk
but
about
have
that
to rely
idiot.
on smaller tactical operations
Complete
from these more
fucking
well-trained Marine and Airborne battalions to force
whack
Ukrainians
job.
to withdraw from their territorial gains. If we look at the topographic map, we can better understand how Ukrainians defeated the Russian assaults. As you can see, Russians mainly advanced in and along the lowlands, while Ukrainians maintained control over the high ground. This has allowed Ukrainians to fight off Russian assaults in the south and destroyed the Russian spearhead toward Lyubimovka. In the south, Russians were also able to assault from the high ground themselves, and defending the settlements here would just lead to unnecessary losses, which is why Ukrainians pulled back. The Institute for the Study of War also concluded that Russians have only captured weaker Ukrainian positions in the lowlands, but experienced much more difficulty penetrating deeper, as Ukrainians maintained stronger positions further into the Kursk salient.
Okay.
Ukrainians also continued their offensive operation on the Glushkovo salient, moving further west and capturing the border settlements of Volfino and Krasnuktia.
So what happens here in the next video, you'll be very interested to see, trust me.
Brski. As it turns out, Russian units had turned the large school building in the settlement of Veseloye into a base of operations, storing manpower and ammunition here, and were using it to coordinate the defense.
Yep, pretty
As
common
all
thing.
civilians had been evacuated, Ukrainians were free to airstrike the Russian base with precision-guided bombs, destroying the building completely. Geolocated footage also shows how Ukrainians used their tanks to fire on any Russian position left in the settlement.
Ooh, damn.
The original uncensored video of the Russian base of operations destroyed, Ukrainians under the cover of their tanks were able to move in and successfully clear the settlement of any remaining Russian resistance. Russian military bloggers later reported that Ukrainians had taken complete control of Veseloye, advanced along the road to Glushkovo, and moved further along the railway line to the east. If we look at the topographic map, we can see that Veseloye is situated on the edge of the high ground, and Ukrainians are likely moving further to take complete control of the platform.
It gets better, folks.
Russian military sources state that Russian VDV airborne forces were conducting counterattacks. However, Russian analysts remained unoptimistic, as the unit had taken heavy losses in its spearhead attack on Lyubimovka.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, Ukrainians out there, these are seen as some of the most competent troops that Russia has. This airborne unit,
and Ukrainians securely controlled the high ground. However, Glushkovo is likely not the next Ukrainian target.
Yeah.
Ukrainians are more likely to advance along the railway line and attempt a pincer maneuver on Snagost from the high ground.
So we got an update on this.
This would put most of the Russian Marine and Airborne Assault Group in encirclement and completely dismantle the Russian counteroffensive attempt on the Kursk salient. Overall, the Russian spearhead toward Lyubimovka fell apart as they encountered stronger Ukrainian resistance the deeper they moved into the salient. Ukrainians were also able to effectively utilize the high ground advantage to dismantle both the spearhead towards Lyubimovka and the infantry assaults on the settlements to the south. Moreover, after the fall of Veseloye, Ukrainians could swiftly secure large parts of the Glushkovo highlands. This will serve as the launching pad and allow for the final blow, in which Ukrainians will cut off the Russian Marine and Airborne Assault Group by launching a pincer maneuver from the high grounds.
Okay.
If you're against the invasion...
So that's the setup. That was from yesterday, I believe, 2 days ago. So that was from 2 days ago. So here's the one from September 20th. He was nice enough to put it out just a few hours ago, 18 hours ago. I believe this is the latest video here, and it's some good news. It's some good news. Strategic bridgeheads united. Let's see what he's got to say.
Today there are a lot of updates from the Kharkiv direction. Here, Ukrainian forces have intensified their operations around the Vovchansk area, making substantial progress by merging two...
So this is off in Kharkiv. This is not Kursk at the moment. I think we're going to get to Kursk. I haven't actually seen this video yet, so sorry I haven't
independent
watched it yet.
bridgeheads near TK. As Russian troops attempt to consolidate control and create a buffer zone in northern Kharkiv Oblast, Ukrainian forces, supported by advanced aerial reconnaissance and precision strikes, are steadily undermining Russian efforts.
Yeah. They're trying to do another front, right, to try to throw Ukraine off.
Buffer zone in northern Kharkiv Oblast,
you gotta have enough
Ukrainian
people.
forces, supported by advanced aerial reconnaissance and precision strikes, are steadily undermining Russian efforts.
Tricked, exactly.
This shift in momentum is tipping the balance in Ukraine's favor, further disrupting Russia's defensive strategies in the region. Ukrainian Kharkiv Group spokesperson Vitaly Sarantsev recently reported that Russian forces continue to pursue their operational objectives in northern Kharkiv Oblast.
Yeah, you're getting your ass
However,
kicked.
Ukrainian operations in the region, combined with the additional pressure from Ukraine's incursion into Kursk Oblast, are significantly disrupting Russia's offensive efforts.
Yeah, I mean, I disagree, Davey. I totally disagree. I think this stuff is very relevant because the actions that are happening in these regions are absolutely affecting the front line. These are not nothing burgers. I will say though, it can feel a little tedious, watching the incremental push and pull, but yeah, no, nothing burger. I don't know. Come on. It's hardcore evidence that the Ukraine military is able to push back the Russian military. Can they push back the full might of the Russian military? Because that's always been the real question. Bakhmut, Avdiivka, it was always a matter of time. It was always a matter of time. Never was it really understood that Ukraine was going to be able to fully stop those pushes, right? Because the Russian military was putting their full weight behind those pushes. They were able to stop, at least delay Pokrovsk because of this Kursk offensive. But like I said, in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be seeing Russia dump seemingly their full strength into the Kursk region. So we're really going to be able to see, is Ukraine going to be able to dig in and hold that ground?
Russian objectives reportedly include establishing a buffer zone along the international border with Belgorod Oblast and pinning down Ukrainian forces in the area.
But I disagree with
However,
it. However,
Sarantsev also highlighted a more dangerous objective. Russian forces are aiming to launch an advance from Vovchansk to strike the rear of Ukrainian positions in the Kupiansk direction,
I'm not sure, Clutch.
which could threaten Ukraine's defensive posture in the region.
The U.S. election is a
big part of
this.
The strategic significance of Kupiansk cannot be overstated. It serves as a critical linchpin for Russia's broader political objective of fully securing the territorial boundaries of Luhansk.
The last time I made that point, though, Davey disagreed with me. So hopefully Davey is furiously typing up a disagreement with you as well. Or no, it was Woke Patriot. Woke Patriot disagreed with it. Davey would agree. I think Davey would agree with that assessment. There's that great interview, right, of the U.S. general, and the Vietnamese general. Those, they were interviewed after the war. The Vietnamese general goes, yeah, that's true, but it's also moot because you fucking lost the war.
At the same time, any potential Russian advance on the regional capital, Kharkiv, even if intended merely to pressure the city and provoke civilian evacuations, remains unlikely to succeed as long as the Ukrainian Kupiansk group continues to threaten Russian forces from the southeast.
Just like TV static.
From Russia's perspective, both objectives, exerting pressure on both Kharkiv and Kupiansk, are highly valuable and ultimately interdependent.
I totally disagree. Useless. Yeah, I disagree with your hyperbolic language. Like, I understand it can be a little wonky and it's not as exciting as talking about, Ukraine moving 100 kilometers in one direction or another. But at the same time, no, I disagree. Useless? No, I disagree.
Recent days, Ukrainian forces have intensified efforts to disrupt Russian logistical operations around Vovchansk. This escalation has been driven by enhanced aerial reconnaissance, allowing for heightened vigilance and more precise targeting. Numerous geolocated images reveal a surge in attacks, primarily using FPV drones, following accurate detection by reconnaissance UAVs. Footage shows strikes on a wide array of vehicles, as well as attempts to hinder on-foot logistical support, demonstrating Ukraine's growing capability to undermine Russian supply lines in the area. Additionally, Ukrainian Air Force operations have intensified, with the 114th Tactical Aviation Brigade conducting a strike on a Russian base in Vovchansk.
Drinks
Reports
are cooler.
indicate that GBU-39 precision-guided bombs were launched from a MiG-29 during the attack. Geolocated images confirm the destruction of a Russian personnel and equipment base located at the former Central District Hospital in Vovchansk. Footage highlights the pinpoint accuracy of the Ukrainian munitions, which were set to a delayed detonation mode. The bombs can be seen penetrating the building before exploding, maximizing the impact and destruction. Russian sources have acknowledged heavy losses, potentially amounting to 2 companies.
Whoa!
For access to the original uncensored in response to their stalled infantry advances, Russian forces have escalated aerial attacks in the area, primarily deploying FAB-guided bombs and thermobaric munitions. These strikes have focused on Tika, which has remained firmly under Ukrainian control for several weeks. Additionally, Russian aviation reportedly destroyed a bridge over the Vovcha River near Okhremivka and Mala Vovcha, northeast of Vovchansk. However, Ukrainian forces maintain multiple crossings over the Vovcha River throughout the eastern part of Vovchansk, minimizing the disruption to their logistics. This shift in Russian tactics suggests a renewed focus on eastern Vovchansk, as northern Vovchansk is increasingly leveled and reduced to rubble. Meanwhile, Ukrainian forces continue to solidify their hold on Tika, preparing for a potential future.
Look at that. Look at the state of that. The company is 100 to 250 people. You don't think 400 people or so were in that building? Yeah, it's probably a little wishful thinking, right? Jesus Christ. And then you got pundits in Russia talking about how they want to do that to Russian cities. You know, with memories of World War II in their head, you know. Not one step back. What for? Good God, what for? Why? What, so Russians can vacation in Crimea? I mean, honestly, like, all this could be negotiated. You know, like, so you can fly a Russian flag in Crimea. That's why you got to do this. Madness.
Ukrainian forces continue to solidify their hold on Tika, preparing for a potential future offensive aimed at advancing on Vovchansk from the east. If we look at the topographic map, we can see that Tika occupies a strategically advantageous position, with the road descending from its heights. If Ukrainian forces can concentrate enough personnel and equipment, they could pose a serious threat to Russian positions north of Vovchansk. Okay. Recent geolocated footage highlights Ukrainian efforts to exert pressure on a Russian force attempting to regroup near Tiki. Upon early detection of the enemy concentration, Ukrainian forces acted swiftly, not waiting for a potential assault. Precision artillery strikes targeted Russian positions along the tree lines, obliterating the enemy before they had a chance to mount an offensive. As a result of increased Ukrainian efforts, military analysts have recently reported that Ukrainian forces successfully merged 2 bridgeheads in the area. One bridgehead, advancing westward from north of Tika, was led by the 7th Battalion area of the Ukrainian Volunteer Army, while the other, advancing eastward from Vovchansk, was led by the Tsunami Regiment of the Lyud Brigade. This achievement is particularly significant, as Russian forces were theoretically positioned in a more favorable location.
You got me.
However, Ukraine's renewed momentum, combined with ongoing Russian logistical and personnel challenges, has enabled Ukrainian forces to push forward and secure these strategically important positions. Overall, Russia's need to shift focus due to the success of the Ukrainian incursion into Kursk is limiting its ability to sustain previous levels of personnel and equipment deployment across other frontline areas. Ukrainian forces are capitalizing on this opportunity by intensifying pressure in the Vovchansk region, targeting logistics hubs and Russian concentration points, which has facilitated the merger of Ukrainian bridgeheads near Tika. These operations are bolstered by increased Ukrainian air support. As a result, the momentum is beginning to shift in Ukraine's favor. If Ukrainian forces can sustain this pressure, we may soon witness a decisive advance, potentially leading to significant territorial gains.
Okay, so I mean, that's the big takeaway here, is that it's very possible, it's hard to tell right now, but it's very possible that what's happening in Kursk is affecting this attempt to open up a front into Volchansk. And it, you know, Ukraine might be taking advantage of the situation to push them back, because they're putting all the resources into trying to take Kursk back. So this, you know, if that's the case, if that's true, that's another example of the bold Ukrainian strategy being victorious, being good, smart. Not just a random Hail Mary shot in the dark. Because that's what a lot of criticism is, like, oh, this is desperate. This is actually, it's not a sign of strength, it's a sign of desperation. And, you know, depending how things work out, it could very well, you know, turn into that. But right now, it does appear to be affecting, it does appear to have real frontline battlefield effects happening on other fronts. And that's one of the big reasons why they're doing it. Pretty fucking brilliant move. You know, all the discussions that we had, you know, prior to the Kursk invasion or incursion, you know, I even said, like, you know, oh, Ukraine's never going to invade Russia. That's a crazy idea. Ukraine will never invade Russia. But I never considered an incursion where it's like, okay, obviously, yeah, they're not taking Moscow, but they're taking enough of Russia to embarrass Putin, requiring him to act, requiring him to shift resources, whether he likes it or not. I never even considered that. You know, and it does appear to be a very, very smart military move. Hey, greetings from South to Boston. It's your boy, Lenny. Yo! True OG to the chat and the #1 financial contributor to the stream. Thank you, Lenny. Well, unfortunately, how long will this war last? I mean, at this current rate, 30 more years at this current rate. Because Davey is not wrong. It's like, you know, inches and elbows over here. It's, you know, 10 feet here, 10 kilometers there, 50 kilometers there, 100 kilometers here, you know, back and forth in certain areas. The blobs move around on the map, but, you know, no big movements. And unfortunately, that's the war that Russia wants to fight. That's exactly the kind of situation that Putin is most comfortable in. A nice big war of attrition. So at the current rate, 30 years. But Davey is probably correct that something's got to break. There's got to be some kind of tipping point, usually probably economics, hopefully having something to do with Russia's economics. Or, you know, Trump gets in there and just lets the whole thing go to hell, lets NATO go to hell, different direction completely, you know. But if Kamala wins and she doesn't really change much, kind of keeps the same Joe Biden, I'm afraid of my own shadow strategy, but continues to support Ukraine, continues to, you know, support them, not fully, not completely, but doesn't allow them to get swamped, then yeah, everyone will just be waiting for the Russian economy to collapse. And I think, you know, yeah, 2 or 3 years, that, you know, I'm no expert. No one can predict it. No one can predict when that would happen. But it is an eventuality. There's the Russian economy is in big trouble. But who, you know, that's the great thing about money right now. You can just kind of fake it till you make it, huh? You just kind of just make shit up. It's not a McDonald's. It's a McDonald's. Whose side is time on? I can't tell. Time is on Russia's side right now, because Putin is depending on Ukraine fatigue in the West, and he's also depending on right-wing governments to take control in the West that would benefit him. So yeah, time is on Putin's side. He's depending on the weakness of Western democracies. A standoff until someone cries economic uncle. Right now, yeah. There are other factors though that can throw a wrench in this one, but yeah. So unfortunately, folks, that was my last video of the day, except for this. I know. I'm sorry. You want so much more, and I would love to give you more, but I do have to get going. But I did want to give you this final video as an inspiration, something, a life lesson, something that you could take with you. You know, hopefully you never forget this, because this, you know, I believe in this message. I believe in this video. Sorry, Lenny.
The fastest way to know if something will work for you is to try it. Learn to proceed without certainty.
Right.
Life doesn't come with a trial period or a money-back guarantee.
Exactly.
There's no GPS for your journey, no step-by-step guide to becoming who you're meant to be. Every day, you're writing a story without knowing the ending. You can spend years theorizing, planning, and preparing, but until you take that first step, it's all just speculation. As Søren Kierkegaard said, life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. You can't wait for certainty to start living.
You can't wait for certainty to start living. It can only be observed backwards, but it can only be lived forwards. And you can't be waiting for uncertainty to be gone before you act. There's risk. You have to take the risk. You have to. What a brilliant video. And such a nice thing, you know, the guy escaping from the police, being clever. To answer your question, Chem Goblin, that's a mini bike. A mini bike. Mini motorcycle, mini bike. Am I going to cover Nebraska? What happened in Nebraska? Some kind of mass shooting or something? What? Some mass shooting or something happened in Nebraska? What happened? What happened in Nebraska? Changed in Nebraska? Like, what? Oh, okay. I did hear about this. Right. So it's very wonky, super wonky. They're trying to change the rules so that there's two states where all the states in the United States are winner take all. So whoever wins the electoral college in that state, they get to take all the votes, except for two states. All right, let me just show you the video. It's just hard to explain. It's so hard to explain. But yeah, no, this could affect Harris. This, you know, I don't know. Yeah, except for Nebraska and New Hampshire. It's confusing, it's wonky, but it could mean because this election is so fucking tight, is so tight, it could mean Kamala Harris, you know, losing by a hair. Could mean, you know, even though it's totally not fair.
In these key.
Finn, let's discuss Senator Lindsey Graham's visit to Nebraska this week in regards to pushing for a winner-take-all system when it comes to the state's 5 electoral votes. 5 Republican lawmakers from Nebraska are also pushing for this, but remind us which states sort of do this hybrid and why and what it would take for that to change.
Well, Nebraska, too. The Nebraska 2nd District has 1 electoral vote. And that area, that blue dot, if you will, is a very more traditionally Democratic voting section of a very red state. But that 1 electoral vote is part of one of the paths to 270 on the electoral map for the Harris campaign. And if it is a close race, and then we do see in the polling data that we've seen this week in these key battleground states, it could, I want to emphasize could, come down to 1 electoral vote. Therefore, by changing that, by eradicating, if you will, that 1 blue dot, that 1 electoral.
And they're going after Nebraska and not New Hampshire because there's a higher likelihood that the Republicans are going to win Nebraska, but they want to keep the system in New Hampshire because that means that even though they're not going to take the whole state, they still might be able to take one of the electoral college. So they don't want to mess with the one that's going to help them. They only want to change the one that might hurt them. Right? It's naked corruption, hypocrisy. You know, I've been warning about it for 3 years now, right? 4 years I've been talking about, wow, there's a real plan on the books to radically alter our democracy, guys, and they're actually doing it. It's not just words.
electoral vote, it gives the Republicans and Trump an advantage on that map. So that's why there's been such an interest by Trump allies. That's why we've seen Senator Graham, who is an advisor to the former president, go down there. And I think that that's something that we need to watch, because if that changes, it does sort of, it's a little bit like Jenga in terms of the strategic map for Democrats.
Yeah, and of course, you know, this ghoulish fascist who is a total hypocrite, total gay man, total closeted gay man hypocrite. Yeah, I say that. Yeah, we all know it, Lindsay. This fucking fascist is over here, you know, mechanizing, doing everything he can to get his orange messiah in there. This party understands that if it doesn't radically change democracy, it will be destroyed by it. It understands that. It sees an opportunity to plunge a knife into the neck of democracy. And it's going for it. Full-throatedly, full energy, boom. Yeah, kill it, kill it, kill it. That's what they want to do to democracy. To, you know, and if you think, you know, changing something that radical in your country isn't going to affect you, holy shit. You know, I mean, you're just gone, you know, at that point. You're just too far gone. I couldn't convince you fart stink. You know what I mean? Oh, you know, who gets fine? That's okay. We don't really, democracy sucks anyway. Oh, yeah, we should do an imperial presidency. We should be a dictatorship, an authoritarian dictatorship. That's how we get real things done. Okay. You know, what can I do? What can I do? I'm just going to try to continue with the plan to turn your children into transgenders. That's the plan. It's the gay agenda. Look it up. We're going to see substantial post-election violence. I think it's going to be, we're going to see some. But I think people are actually going to be surprised, right? Because all the hubbub, all the talk about civil war and all the talk about this, obviously if Trump loses, right? But all these threats, you know, we're going to see some wackos do some stuff. Yep. I think that's fair to say. Are we going to see the second American Revolution, you know, these 350-pound internet masturbation addicts, you know, with guns on their wall, you know, marching down the street? No. Civil war? It might be a civil war in your fucking bathroom, but that's about it. Might be Avengers Endgame in your fucking toilet bowl, but that's about it. I believe a Senate chooses the vice president. It could be a vice presidency and Tim Walz. Be a Trump presidency and a Tim Walz vice presidency. Okay. All right, Tom Clancy. Got any more humdingers over there? That does sound like a good thriller. That does sound like the setting of a good thriller. In a world where the Republican president had to choose a Democratic vice president. Trump and David Duke as VP. Yo! Basically, Vance is just doing straight up racism right now. I have a link in my fucking Discord. Let me bring it up right here. Yeah, it's right here. Hilarious stuff. No, he's just doing racism. He's just there is no other way to put this, but this is a racist statement. He says, I'm still going to call them illegal aliens in reference to Haitian migrants that are in Ohio legally, citizens. Oh, I'm still going to call them illegal. Why? Because they're brown? Why, man? They're totally legit. They did their paperwork. I'm still going to call them illegals. That's just fucking racist, bro. There's no cover from that. He's a psychopath, Lenny. He's a psychopath. They're all psychopaths, but some hide it better than others. Like Ted Cruz actually hides his psychopathy really well. Democratic-led Senate would choose the vice presidency in the case of an electoral tie. They would choose Tim Walz. The House gets to choose the president. They would choose Trump. Wow. I didn't know that. That's how the tie would be handled. Really, that's how the tie would be handled. Are we gonna? Is the congressional election before November, or is that all happening? So I guess it would. No, it's all going to happen at the same time, right? We're going to get the results of a lot of these congressional elections, or no? Does it happen at the same time? But wow, that's a crazy scenario. It's legitimately crazy, Davey. Yeah, that would suck. That would suck. But it would be incredibly fascinating. It really would. That whole thing playing out like that, it would be incredibly fascinating. All right, folks, I got to give big props to Information Please. I think he was here. They were here the entire time, so big props. It'd technically be a new House and Senate. I'm just doing it as if they stay the same control. Right. Okay. Yeah, fuck, dude. Write that novel. Let's hope it doesn't happen. That novel might be real fucking life. What a nightmare. I mean, but honestly though, it would nothing much would change. Couldn't Trump just get a different vice president? Like, couldn't that, like, Trump wouldn't be stuck with that? And what can the vice president do? You know, what can the vice president do to, you know, that Trump wouldn't be under any kind of challenges? Yeah, I'm streaming tomorrow. Be streaming tomorrow, folks. No, yes, he would. Yeah, okay. He would be what? The vice president could do something to slow him down? Tim Walz would just be sidelined. Right. Okay, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It would be interesting. He'd have a bully pulpit, so every day he'd get in front of the microphone and say, I completely disagree with these clowns. I'm trying to get in every meeting that I can. They don't let me in any meetings. You know, I can only do the stuff that's legally, and they're trying to change the law so that I'm not involved at all. 9/11, apparently. It's about the Twin Towers, apparently. I don't know. Some anime called Cypher. Some anime called Cypher. It just has a bunch of shots of the Twin Towers in it for some reason. He can't replace... So he can't... Okay, so he can't force Walls to step down. But he doesn't have to listen to anything. He can do whatever the hell he wants. So yeah, it'd be great. It'd be a fascist presidency. Trump would basically win. But there would just be this curious element of Tim Walz in there who gets a bully pulpit, you know, but he wouldn't be able to give us any real insight because they'd kick him out of every meeting. So yeah, okay. It would just be a curiosity, but a full-blown fascist presidency. Okay. That anime game stream was so chill. When did I do that? Did I ever do that? Have I ever done an anime game stream? When did I do that? I've never done that. All right, folks, I got to get going. Big props to Davey. Big props to Chem Goblin. Big props to your boy Lenny. Sorry I had to leave so early. Kanye West, Information Please. Clutch Cargo. All you OGs, all you lurkers. Thank you to the lurkers out there giving me those views. You know, not feeling the need to type in the chat. No pressure. No pressure. I get you. It's a jungle in there. It's a jungle in that chat. Johnny Bananas, thank you for coming through. Johnny Bananas. Lovely comments. Thank you, Johnny Bananas. Estonian, thank you for coming back. Estonian, good to see you. Estonian, thank you. Ford the Perfect, thank you for making fun of my face. Made me feel very self-conscious. You've succeeded in that. Congratulations. Feel very self-conscious now. Thank you for your comments. Simply Steve, lovely to see you again. Thank you for coming back, Simply Steve. Zeoduke, I believe Zeoduke or Ice King of Space, you were number one in the chat, so big props to you, Ice King of Space. Thank you for coming back. Was that you? Was that not you? You streamed some old game where you lay traps. You're very handsome. Don't listen to him. Oh, thank you, Davey. Oh. What? What I should do is divorce my wife, live in a fucking cave, apparently, and have bugs crawl over me. That's how you be a successful streamer. That's how you do it. Stream some old game where you lay traps. Oh, you know what? No, it was me. It was because I know exactly what you're talking about. Yep. You're talking about deception. Kagaro Deception. Yeah. No. Tecmo's Deception. Yeah, absolutely wonderful game. You can't gaslight me. Oh, no. This was the game we played. Right here. Where you lay a bunch of traps and then you try to kill the people. You were basically playing as Satan's left hand haunting this house. You lay down traps, and you try to kill the people that are coming into your mansion because they're trying to get ultimate power. So you're ensnaring them and stealing their soul, or just outright killing them. Yeah, I did play this. I did play this in one of those times. That vampire anime. Yes, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I tried to play the Vampire D anime. Yeah, okay, it's all coming back now. Yeah, Vampire Hunter D. And it had some titties in it. Forgot about that. Forgot about the titties and the gore. Forgot about the gore. I really hate old games. Davey, why do you say things that make me so sad? Why do you say things that just make me so sad? Old games make me so happy. You just say things that just make me so sad. Peace in that motherfucking Middle East. Glory to the Ukrainian democracy. I'm Abandoned Nihilism. This has been the News Underground, #1 source for news on Twitch. We're going to do it again big tomorrow. Big Saturday stream covering, I think we're going to cover U.S. politics in Gaza. Lots of fun topics, folks. Bring your fucking barf bag for that mass shooting update. America's favorite #1 news segment, the mass shooting update. Pook and swoop in that motherfucker. And let's not forget, the only way to create political change is with political activism. Step 1, inform yourself. Step 2, put your name down, sign up for an organization. And step 3, put in the work. Quit pussyfooting around. Get it done. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Peace in that motherfucking Middle East, y'all. No more excuses. Yeah, Ken Goblin. I can't wait for Star Trek streams as well. I should do it. Love Star Trek. Thank you, everybody. Clutch Cargo. Coogan, swoop!